What is up? It's the pragmatic, ecstatic, uncanny Kodiak, and I'm pretty sure I'm live this time. This time I actually think I may have things work it out. But we'll find out. There's nobody here. Doesn't matter because I'm just gonna sit here and try to tune my guitar. So that's what I'm doing. Anybody pops in, anybody want to hang out, anybody want to comment, subscribe, or dick around, that's what I'm here for. Watch tonight be the night that nobody shows up, but that's okay because I don't stream enough to expect anybody to. This is a total free flow. Like, I really want to fuck up a lot. I really do. I really do. these strings are about a year old. Maybe more than that. Actually, no. Not about a year old. Hey! Hey! It's the Commodore.
Yes.
What is up?
I don't know, a lot of things.
I was wondering if anybody would join me tonight.
Yes, I'm an insomniac.
Same.
Actually, during Andrew's stream, I just got up like an hour before.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's I have kids so I don't sleep. There is no sleep.
Yeah.
I can't imagine when the kids get old enough that isn't a factor what my sleeping schedule will be like. I think it was Chester Busby. He's like, man, I made one comment in the stream earlier, and he's like, I hadn't seen you around in a while. I'm like, man, a lot of streamers must feel that way. Like they haven't seen me around in a while. I make what I can make, but it's like, like I have no enemies online, so there's nobody I'm avoiding. It's just I have so much going on, like. But at the same time, is that really true? Do I really have that much going on? You ask yourself, you're like, man, you tell yourself you're so busy. But then you look around and what did you accomplish today? What is your drink of choice, if any?
I suppose it's Moxie.
Moxie? Isn't that a soda?
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, you're talking about alcohol beverages?
Yeah, Moxie, and there's like a mosquito on the page. Is like Moxie and is it Moxie and
my
rum?
favorite. Do you want to know my favorite alcoholic beverages? It's the one that doesn't smell fermented.
Yeah, anything. So you're a mixed drink guy.
No. I don't like anything that smells fermented.
Wine to me doesn't smell fermented, but
yeah, but it smells like grapes. I don't like grapes.
Yeah. See, that's why. Look, my wife got me. It's a wine thing for me, but wine is also something. Pretty much the only thing for me that, for the longest time, I could drink and get creative with. Like if I'm drinking too hard on liquor, I get sloppy or just too drunk to like do anything really.
Let's go see if my webcam's still busted. If I can find the window where it is. I want to show you my drug of choice. Oh, it's not illegal. I was not yet.
I think I wouldn't care, but YouTube would. YouTube's getting stupid.
Well,
I hate YouTube. You know when I get drunk how much I hate YouTube.
Don't you hate YouTube when you're sober too?
Yeah, well, there's certain people like Boogie2918, which I follow and stuff like that. He's still sucking because YouTube paid for his house, paid for his surgery, paid for his teeth, dental work, paid for everything. Of course, you're still sucking Google's penile implant.
I was just gonna say teeth, but whatever.
I probably will learn my lesson, but I'm probably not gonna care. It's like I'll go on too many rants. I deleted my last rant. I can't even remember what it was about. By the way, you'll hear me strumming on the guitar a little bit, just messing around. Just cut in anytime you want. I'm just fooling around. My fingers are so rusty.
Are you trying to play Grease? You know, summer.
That would be
so fast.
Summer lovin'. I could look the chords up if you really want to hear it coming. But
I feel like you're gonna play that. But if you want to play, go ahead.
Is it a metal song? Whoa, we have a Zero Soul Zion in the house. Hey man, Zion, it's probably my fault, but I haven't seen you. It's going pretty good. I got a Commodore in the house.
Yes. A wild Commodore appears.
Yep. I wanted to throw it in a couple more chats, but then I was like, I haven't done my due diligence and been on some people's. I need to do my rounds. You know,
I have no due diligence.
I do. Sometimes I feel guilty. I feel like one of the guys that like really helped me find my footing was John Dillard, and like I miss him. He's awesome. I haven't been on his stream in a while, Cool. Glad you're doing good. Yeah, I'm drunk, but I'm not mad. So I think I'm not mad. I am mad now. The wine's gone. This is the
Why is the
second.
wine gone?
Why is the wine gone? This is the second bottle too. I never feel drunk enough until the morning time when I wake up. Wait, what is that? It could be something, I think. I'm in drop D, so I don't know if that means anything to you. Even if you don't know music, you might know the term drop D. Or it might just be dirty sounding to you, and that works too. What kind of yeah, last time I was in your stream you were drunk and angry as hell. I was nervous about popping in the other stream. No, I don't even know what I was angry about. I do like I think I was just well, you know, entertainment. That's all it is. I listened to it the next day, and even though I was like, yeah, I made some good points, those points I still stand by. I didn't want the wrong people to get the wrong idea. I didn't want the wrong people to feel attacked. You know what I mean? I was like, no, there was actually some statements that I meant to say that I kind of said ass backwards. And I'm like, the wrong people could get the wrong idea and feel like I'm attacking them. And I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just, you know, I'm just
a
as
tough time.
yeah, just as fed up as everybody else with, like this isn't my first time on YouTube. I did my very first incarnation on YouTube was doing Transformers reviews and transformation stupid shit. And this is probably the most passionate I've been because of, like Comicsgate and it's surrounding everybody who's around it, not even the people who are or call themselves Comicsgate. So, and at the time, a friend who isn't really Comicsgate was getting attacked, and I'm like, "Isn't that SJW? Isn't that exactly what we dislike? So that's kind of what that was about."
I don't know. It's kind of like football or something, or maybe pro wrestling kind of thing.
It does, and that's I see. I wish I could sell myself like that. What do I even say during this rant? I don't. Could have anything. At that time, it was just like I don't. You know what? During that rant, though, I didn't know I was online. I was legitimate. Remember telling myself, "You're not online anyway, so just pretend like you are and just free flow." Right? No, I remember telling myself that, like you don't even know if you're online. I was using I didn't learn how to use Hangouts yet, so I wasn't sure it went live. I'm like, so if you are live, nobody's listening, and fool yourself, pretend like you are live, and just try to keep talking. So there was a bit of that. As a matter of fact, 60% of it was that just trying to
shut up.
yeah. And then it was talked about yesterday, and Andrew was like, he sent me a message like, so I caught your drunk stream last night. It was interesting. You might want to think about taking that down. I was like, why? What was so bad about it?
Maybe I should watch it sober.
I did. No, I did. I watched the full thing. I was like, I still stand by most of it. I'm just going to take it down because I don't want to hurt anybody. There's nobody I'm actually attacking. I'm just kind of ranting, about the whole thing. I was about YouTube for a minute and Twitch. A lot of people were starting to become immensely toxic. It is awful. It is awful. I don't know how much longer I can take a lot of it.
Toxic. That's what block buttons are for.
Yeah. Well, no. Zero Soul is the one saying it, and he's got a point. It's I was I'm mm, I was having I am still having trouble with my health, so drinking isn't exactly helping it.
Oh.
But
What exactly are health problems anyway? Heart condition?
yeah, it's something I can't. I have no health insurance, so unless I want to ride up into an ER, stay for 2 days. By the end of the 2 days, you're nice and relaxed and laid up in a bed, so there's nothing wrong with you by the end of the 2 days, and they can't really. There's nothing left for them to observe.
Ah,
You know what I mean? So they'll tell you, like, look, the last time I was in the hospital for 2 days, and they're like, look, something's wrong. We observed it. We admitted you as fast as possible, and it was scary. But we can't tell what it is now without you need to get to a primary. And I'm like, bro, I can't afford no primary. I'm middle. It's like if I was, which I've been in the lower class before. We rose up above that, so I could get an efficient type of Medicare
ah.
or Medicaid, whichever it is.
Yeah.
But
A lot of Americans say they want Medicare for all, but you got Medicare. Look what it's doing to you.
yeah, I literally have right now what is it medically needy. And what that means is if I do end up at the hospital, if they'll in some way you'll end up working the system and they'll pay for it. But the thing is, that's only ER. That's not any kind of primary they'll cover. And primary is where it's at. Primary is where they watch, observe, send you through tests, find out why you don't have energy or whatever it is, all that stuff.
Well, I don't think
Which
the drink is helping you. Like, say, if God forbid you had a heart attack from the
that's
drink, huh?
Wait, Zero's Zion saying that dude, you never got through to me on Twitter? God, I hate Twitter so bad. Um I'm gonna call you either Zion or Z, okay?
How about Z?
Um
No, it's an X.
yeah. Uh that would be a cool name too, X, but it just doesn't fit as much. Do you have an Instagram? Because you'll get almost an instant reply from me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram more than anything, even YouTube. Zion. Okay, it works. You couldn't message me on Insta? Is your name spelled exactly the same on Twitter? Because I'll try to find you right now. I feel for like Elliot when he says like, man, I meant like he's got a lot of people composed new tweet. Can you find the person first, Twitter? Bro, I don't think that's Zero Soul Zion is mentioned, but it won't let me go to Zero Soul. And I haven't had Twitter long enough to have anybody or any type of block bot. But like, if I can, let me make sure I'm not going to dox anything. I'll show my screen. Like, I typed his name. Wait, no. Search filter show. People. Taking a break from that too, right? Oh, you don't have a Twitter. That's why your name's blacked out. Okay. All right. About my boy, my kid?
Your boy Zach.
Oh, my boy Zach, my kid. Which boy?
That'd be funny if you had a boy named Zach.
If I had a kid named Zach,
Yeah.
Oh, Jerkmonger, the man. Yeah. What about Elliot? And by the way, I'm just gonna sit here and pick at the guitar and make noise while I'm reading the chat. I know Kami already knows, so it might sound, I might hit a sour note or two. Just trying to figure. I'm just trying to play around. Is it something we can talk about here, Zion? I'm pretty much sure that you and Kami are the only one here. How has JM been like? How's that? What have you noticed? Was that really what you was wanting to talk to me way back then? What you working on, Kami?
Nothing really.
How did you come to into? There's a couple of people that don't like to call it a community, but that's really what it is because it's not just Comicsgate; it's everything around it. People just don't care. People that do care, people that don't care. So the community. How did you come to be a part of the community?
I forgot how.
Huh?
I forgot how it started because of I saw this nonsense, all this nonsense, like videos of those people acting crazy on campus and whatnot. And those are the same kind of people making your comics, your cartoons, and controlling all your anime voiceovers.
Yeah. Uh, Zion says, I asked a question about what he was drawing, and he replied in a really smart Aleki response. And the way he said it made me feel like I was stupid. No, no, no. And I've had response where I felt like maybe somebody, I was in the chat and I felt like somebody was ignoring me, but then I started streaming and I realized how difficult. Jerkmonger does one of the best juggling acts. And what I mean by that is he reads almost. He reads. I can't. I'm struggling to say 99% because he almost reads 100% of his chat. He really strives to do that, and he draws as well as he does while he's doing that, and talks about whatever. He'll stop to even sometimes to the fault of his whatever he's talking about. He'll stop what he's talking about to read the chat. And last thing to complete my thought, the very first time, way back in my Jerkmonger is who brought me into YouTube, as far as in this incarnation. He brought me. I revived my channel because I kept coming to his channel, watching his artwork, and he started to talk about this thing called Comicsgate. But the way I came over to his YouTube channel was that I was an Instagram fan of his, and I would talk to him. The very first time, the very first question that I ever asked Jerkmonger, I thought he didn't like me. I thought he didn't like the question I asked or whatever it was. It was he was on some kind of he was probably on his tablet or whatever, and I was asking him about the latency because I didn't understand what was going on. And I thought whatever. I thought whatever. I would not, if I would have judged by that one comment, by that one time that I thought he snapped it. I thought he snapped at me. If I would have just left it and been like, screw that guy, I would not have followed one of the greatest people that I know. And this is why he's one of the greatest people I know. He's flawed. He knows he's flawed. And he wants to be better.
Yeah.
And that's why he helps me want to be better. Is because he's flawed. He knows he's flawed. And he's striving to do better. The talent is actually second to that. Yeah. So that's it. And the thing is with Jerkmonger, that's if he said tomorrow I leave all this and I'm leaving over here, I would follow him. That's my mentor. Everything he's ever said has struck a chord with me. So he was the first one to give me a wrench, and I was so super new. You think, when I first got online streaming, I was nervous, but that's not even the thing. When I first got my first wrench, I freaked out. He just was like, "Hey, Uncanny Kodiak, I have a feel." I had to send him a letter about something, spiritual, because it was touching on a topic he had one during one of his morning muses. So I sent him a letter. I didn't think he would read it, but at that time I didn't really know who he was. He strives to read everything coming through, but that gets difficult. And that day he made me a wrench, and he's like, well, I'm like, what does a wrench do? And I'm freaking out. I'm like, what the hell? Because
it all make was worth it. That's what
we laugh now because we know what it is, but back then I didn't know what it was. The only channel I went to was his, and he's like, if you don't want it, just let me know and I'll take it away. He's like, you just drop links, whatever. So I slowly started learning. People like John Malin would jump in his chat. Nasser was one of the first people that ever dropped in that I ever noticed. So I started to slowly starting to click on these other names like Mike S. Miller, Doug TeNapel. And so I learned all of this through JM, He says, yeah, I hear you. I kind of a little sensitive. So it's different for me. Now, I think we're all a bit sensitive, and it's tough. Before I go on to read the rest of your comment, I think it's tough when we're online because that's why emojis were invented, because people were taking the words or even our one statement, And look at this guy. He's got a family.
Here's the thing that happened with emojis. Like, what's this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks better. Your tongue. You're poking fun. You're poking. You're just you're teasing.
But in some, like it's turned into a raspberry. Like you're making
right. Like you're ribbing somebody. Like you can say something that somebody was like, well, that's rude, but you put that afterwards and they realize you're purposely being satirical.
Yeah, but this looks a bit crap to turn to emoji again. Damn it. Okay, the emoticon form, it looked more casual. It was like,
I see. It jumped in. Okay,
on the side,
When you want it to be just the emoji form, I usually put a space in between it. It cuts it. It cuts it.
Okay.
Let me read the rest of it.
Yeah, like that. All right, gotcha.
The minute I feel someone is an asshole, I cut them off and keep moving. But I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't cut Jerkmonger off. The thing he is not is an asshole. He is an asshole too. And let me explain that. He's an asshole in all the right ways we can learn to be an asshole. He's an asshole for his family. He's an asshole for his friends.
He's not an asshole against them. That's the thing.
Whatever he read if you felt stupid, you know, it let me word this correctly because it could be, and the reason I'm trying to word this correctly is I've been there. I've totally been there. I've totally got my feelings hurt. Then went back and read something and listened to something again and was like, should I really hold it that way? Or how about this? I've totally got my feelings hurt. And then the next time I seen somebody they was like, hey, blah blah blah, nice comment, blah blah blah. They're just people. They're just people, and they do a pretty good. I'm go back to what I said previously. He does a good job of juggling all these things. He's going to let you down once in a while. That's what tells you he's on that other side of that screen is a living, breathing human being
with flaws. Yeah,
it's just a dude. He's trying
like
to
you
make
said, he has flaws, but he wants to be better, and he tries to be better. And
yeah.
yeah.
And doesn't that make you believe that you might be able to draw a little better, or you do a little better, or
Yeah, well, I never heard of him. Like, he's not inspiring me, but I just
yeah.
been
You
trying
don't
to get it for myself. But like I'm kind of not in the mood. Like, like I guess I've been thinking of like set up a little habit with the webcam and and scanning. It was like, well, my webcam's busted, and all three of my scanners don't work. But so there we go. You know.
and Zion Jerkmonger's the type of person that if he would have known you felt that way, he's also a coach. There's a little bit of coach in him. He could be the proverbial high school football coach.
Yeah, he might say like some things that would piss people off and hurt their feelings, but he does it to he doesn't do it to make them feel better, feel worse. But he does it so they can do better.
Exactly, 100. That's it. That's you know.
But JM, he does a lot of like almost like yeah. When he does a lot of I guess black and white inking, like the only like other color he uses is red. Is that like
And which is funny. Before I ever met him with my photography, even in artwork that I used to look up, that might have been why I found him. That might have been why I one day came across him as his black, white, and red. But with my photography back when I did that, I used to turn it black and white, and then I would really blow out the white, and a lot of times I would turn most of the white red, so it was black, white, and red. So I always liked that a lot. I've always liked selective color anyway, black, white, and a selected color.
Yeah, like the Sin City effect.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like I hate that book, but I love some of the art in it.
I like the movie.
The movie's even worse. God, I went back and tried to rewatch it to tell myself maybe I didn't give it a chance. And I was just like, it's not my thing. That's like that new thing my wife is watching, The Happy, on Netflix. Happy, with the guy from Law and Order.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's weird. He's got this imaginary friend that flies around him. And I might be just getting old. I've heard that this kind of thing happens when you hit around 40. And it's kind of like some of my deviant self. I used to be into, a very alternative type of guy, like, just tattoos and fuck the man type of ideology, and now I'm getting very wary about where the world's going and the type of entertainment I let touch my brain. And this story was just very. I'm just like, I'm sick and tired of the drunk alcoholic good quote unquote good guy or what is
Protagonist.
Thank you. He's just unlikable in every way. And I get that. That's old school noir, and I even have characters like that I want.
Isn't noir supposed to be like likable characters, but they have like these fatal flaws?
Right. So it's to me, it's kind of like the anti or the opposite of the Mary Sue. You got too many flaws. It's
that's me.
Huh?
That describes me.
Yeah, that describes me too. But that's not what we want when we escape something. Maybe that's what's going on with the kids. Now, what I mean by that is my 12-year-old. The idea of Captain Marvel being a quote unquote OP character intrigues him. He's like, really? She can knock out anybody? And I was like, and when he said that, I revisited the 12-year-old in myself. I was like, I remember when I thought like that. He doesn't understand all the politics. And notice I said he. I'm not even talking about my daughter. I'm talking about my oldest boy. He doesn't understand all the politics. He doesn't understand that the actor that plays Thor dislikes, or the actors that play the Avengers. Oh crap! I just lost my main. I just lost my main thing. Oh no, it came back. It came back.
I guess ignorance is kind of bliss, but like, should he really care?
Right. Should he just enjoy it? Or is there enough hidden meanings in there to make him? Because he's a young white boy who's going to grow up into a young white man. Will he catch that? And I never noticed it before. I was if you want to call me SJW, I was left wing. I was an Abominite. I was idealistic. I was an SJW for all intents and purposes until I stopped drinking the Kool-Aid and started noticing. Wait, until about the time I started realizing I have 4 white young men that are growing up under my tutelage. Yeah. Does that make sense? And that
leftist policies they hurt minorities too.
Right. Yes.
They just go into the short term, like, I guess, wants, like, they incentivize and fatherless homes, like that helps the mothers out, and but doesn't help the kids.
Zion brings up a point. He's like, yeah, for others, and it's an internet thing. I get it. I've already read it through it, but I'm going to read it out loud. Yeah, for others, when I bring up an issue that I have with somebody, I either get cussed out or banned or berated. Kodiak, so that's why I was like, let me talk to Arthur first. Yeah, I've seen that with other people too, and people have actually come to me, and I've backed out of a whole group of streams just because they seemed not to get along, and I didn't want to be confused for somebody who's taking sides. And I honestly believe, and this might be just me paranoid, but I honestly started to believe that I was. They was like, oh, that Kodiak guy, he must be this guy, or he must be with that guy. I'm like, no, I'm with the Brown family over here, I'm with my kids and stuff like that. I come online because I want to hang out with friends and be friendly and talk geeky, dorky stuff. I don't want to fight. I have too many enemies in my past, and some of them, not a lot of them. Most of my enemies are real, true enemies, really bad people that just grew up bad. But some enemies I have was my fault, I don't want no more,
You don't want any more of that. Like, you don't want drama.
Yeah. Thank you, Zion. No, but that's also an open platform for you to be like, look, this guy made me feel that way or this way, Doug Tenaple, one of my favorite people, and I know he rubs some people the absolute wrong way, and I get it, and I understand it, and I think he gets it, and he understands it. He rubbed me wrong a couple ways until I kept going back because it was something about him. I'm like, no. And I kept saying to myself, the artist from the artist. But I kept telling myself, I can't be. People are going to disagree with me. They might even snap at me. They may not even, I have an annoying voice,
So do I.
Yeah. No, actually, your voice is kind of, it's like, you got a radio DJ voice. But
that's because I practice.
I'm the, how many times it took me to get, wait, hold on, let me see if I can do it. It's the pragmatic, ecstatic, uncanny Kodiak coming at you, whatever I say. I need to fix it because to where it's more of a intro. But
yeah, you sound like I don't think.
No, go ahead. You're not going to offend me. Go ahead.
Wigger.
Who?
You never heard that word before?
What?
Wigger.
Ooh, don't say that word. That's a no word.
It's wig.
Yeah, I've definitely heard it my whole life.
Yeah.
You think my radio voice sounds like some
Oh, it sounds like you're just you're being pretentious. That's what I mean.
pretentious? That's a good thing, and I understood.
You're being pretentious in that
I
way.
know other people won't understand what you were trying to say. Is basically when we I don't use
If a black dude acts that way, it's like, okay, you're just being yourself, you know.
right. But you're talking, and even if you heard if you heard Eminem, you're like, oh, you just grew up that way. You literally grew up around that.
Yeah, he grew up around that too. Yeah.
But you and I both have heard that white dude, and I like that word better, pretentious. So I get what you're saying, and that's a big the W word has just been put on the no list. But
all right, I didn't know that was on a no list.
Oh, it's big time. But I get what you're saying. You're saying those pretentious.
Definitely, but you know,
it's those. It's like Hillary Clinton sitting on the Breakfast Club, and all of a sudden she starts talking differently.
Yeah,
it's like just be yourself. And then literally this, you can look it up. So I'm not making it up. I'm not. Then she goes through how she has hot sauce in her purse, and I'm like slapping my head like, oh.
Was speaking of more of a kind of Ebonic kind of dialect as soon as they were in a room full of black people. Right. You know, like what politician was that? Pelosi?
Yeah. Well, now here's the thing. I grew up in Jacksonville. I went to Jeff Davis. I went to a mostly predominantly black. All my friends was black. The people that protected me, all my bullies.
That's funny. Since you went to a high school named after the Confederate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a middle school, but yes, it was Jeff Davis. Yeah, he was very. All the schools down here, they went through a name change, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, they just renamed it Martin Luther King. Now, like as soon as you rename it, there's a little joke going around. If you rename something Martin Luther King, then trouble happens again.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah, it's so I went to that school, and I'm a redhead, and people don't realize how much what redhead actually gets a lot of guff from everyone. Yeah. Well, so but I'm not complaining. Who am I to complain? There's people with bigger shit,
Yeah.
I mean, it did make my dad try to take me out of school, but I was under 16, so he couldn't take me out of school. It was illegal. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I was.
What age were you?
When we started trying to pull me out of school?
Yeah, like 14.
The second I made it to middle school, and my dad realized how bad that freaking school was. But
can I give another one?
Yeah, I ended up having to do 3.5 years there. I even failed 1 year, so it was a horrible school. Nobody teaching anything.
I bet you would. I bet he could afford to send you a private school.
Yeah. I remember because there's only a couple. There's not
guns.
Yeah, there's not very many white dudes there. But like I said, I was a redhead, so as long as I had my fair share of friends. So and I was actually fat. To be quite honest, I was fat.
So you were out and you were made fun of a lot.
But other kids seen me. No, not as much as elementary school. By middle school, I was the fat redheaded kid, so I was intimidating. But here's the thing. I wasn't intimidating. I didn't know how to intimidate anybody. I was scared shitless. so I could yeah, Lorenzo, you can come on in if you want to. But yeah, so I was scared junkless, but I had that accent. Because everybody I hung out with was, urban. Everybody. And I even had one white girl ask me, "Why do you talk black?" And I was like,
"Because you grew up around them."
I'm like, "What are you talking about? What does that mean?" And then what another thing I remember, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same exact instance because this was on the bus. Her name was Disa. Literally Disa. I've never ever met a person before or since named Disa, and she's a white girl. Her brother, I had just like 3 or 4 nights or a couple of weeks before discovered the very first tape of Korn, the band Korn, the first tape before they hit big, and nobody knew who they were, right? and I was like, Corn is amazing. Nobody knows who this band is. And her brother, tall, white, skinny, with long blonde hair, the only white dude that I would ever see get in fights. Like, no, you're not going to treat me that way, right? He comes walking on and somebody I wouldn't talk to because I was afraid he'd beat me up. But he probably didn't even think, he probably never even thought that I would think he would. Slee Stack says, "You're black and you're proud, Uncanny Kodiak."
Yes.
I'm a ginger and I'm proud.
You're only half as black as Obama.
This is true.
Maybe even more so. Maybe even more than that, because like I think Trump is black.
Isn't he like no, he was okay. No, I don't want to get into that. Like I said,
he revoked his card when he made when his administration made interracial relations go back on it.
When I did see some very racist people in that first election, so that really messed things up. If I wouldn't have seen those people who literally didn't want him to be in, they didn't know nothing about politics. They literally were racist. So that does happen. It's not just a SJW thing.
No, I think it's more of the policies they kind of set forward.
No, that's what happened with me is I started educating myself on things that affect. First, it started affecting my wife, who's a business owner, and then I started looking at things. So yeah, policy is what lost me with him and the left. And then I started noticing the left using the same tactics as the Jehovah's Witnesses, which was what I was, which I consider a cult now. So it's kind of like, don't look at this hand, pay attention to this hand, and pay attention to what we tell you to. But yeah. This is the same guy that I seen wearing, and now this is after Kurt Cobain shot himself. But I used to see him always wearing a Nirvana shirt, and I knew that I was always secretly listening to Nirvana while pretending to listen to rap. And then all of a sudden, this band that I thought I had the tape too, and I thought I was the only one listening to.
Everybody's listening to it.
Yeah, and he comes, no, not Nirvana. He comes wearing a Korn shirt, and I just look up at that Korn shirt. Here's this white dude in an all black school, and the thing is I personally never had any trouble. No. There's a group of there's groups. There's segments. I had my own group. We even named ourselves some stupid thing like Wu-Tang Clan or something after a group or something. We got a lot of flack for that, but because it's stupid. But
yeah, it's stupid. That means it's
all right, Zion. We'll see you in a minute. But the thing is that's the thing. We were trying to embrace everything. We wasn't, especially me, but there was white kids I seen get beat up just because they were white.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, and I've talked to my wife about this. I know that I did get jumped. I know that I did have a day-to-day nightmare trauma to this day from school. But at the same time, I know I didn't get as bad as some other kids, not just white, just some of the other kids that were on the bottom of the whatever.
The dominant hierarchy.
Right. But I don't know if it was because I was fat or because I was redheaded or both.
It's because you looked like an easy target. That's usually how they roll.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying is I was actually sometimes added in with them. I was actually taken in to where I was kind of protected. And I didn't notice it until later when I got out. It was like, wow, there was this group of kids that was kind of protecting me. Like, like, don't jump this white kid. He's cool kind of thing. But I wasn't cool. I was just fat and redheaded. I think I looked intimidating, and having me in part of their clique made them look broader. Does that make sense? Like, I was a big kid, if you know what I mean. I was a big kid. And I also, until years later, didn't know my strength. I was sitting there going, because my dad could not legally take me out of school, but it was still the 90s. I could go with him almost full time, working overnight. So I'd go to school half asleep, sleeping on my desk. No teacher would care. But I was working full time, and when I was working with my dad, I'm pushing this big truck of a scrubber. They don't even exist anymore. They used to scrub like these stores, these convenience, not convenience stores, but grocery stores. And when that battery would go out, it was like pushing a car uphill. So every night I'm sitting there pushing that for 8 hours, you know. So I'm getting buff, very top heavy. So I'm fat, but I'm also a 14-year-old kid. So I'm very powerful. So other people seen how big I was, and I was like, oh, this is an intimidating guy. Whereas if you ask me, I was scared. I was frightened, you know, horrified to be there every day. I had this one kid. This is a true story.
So you were a gentle giant.
Yeah, that's what. When I look back at pictures of me, I'm like, whoa, I was that big, you know. And you know, not all of that was fat. Some of that was you have to have a lot of muscle to carry that kind of fat around at 14. Yeah, I lost a lot. I got real skinny for a while there around 18, 19 after losing dad. He died in a car accident, and I went fucking crazy. So I lost a lot of weight, and all the bullies, see, all that stuff that right before dad died, I had these two brothers we hung out, these two white redneck type dudes. So we started kind of trying to lean that way, like, hey, this is the group that protects us right now, these two redneck guys. Well, they was always fucking mean as hell to me. And finally, they started like hitting me every time I would hang out. And this one time we was at this girl's house, and this girl was kind of like flirtatious, you know. And I guarantee you, she wasn't flirtatious where she wanted to take it anywhere with me. But I'm the boisterous redhead, so she was at least giving me, you know, attention. So all of a sudden, Andy and Andrew, literally was their name, not the Andrew we know, a different Andrew. One sits on one side of me on the couch, and the other sits on the other side. And one goes, "I'm right nut," and the other one goes, "I'm left nut," and then they fucking both punch me in the nuts.
Oh God!
I'm fucking on the floor like, oh, why'd you do that? And I was just like, and they're laughing like, oh, bro, we do that with everybody. And they haven't done that with nobody. Like, so it was just this constant thing. So within that year, within that 6 months, I lost my dad in the most brutal car accident. And I had to go verify his body, right?
Oh God! Ugh.
That next month, Andrew called and said, you know, he called me at this another his ex-girlfriend's house, which I was hanging with my friend Jeremy, who liked her. And he said something about like, man, don't make me come over now. I'm like, you come right now. And I just started flipping out in front of the whole house. Her dad was there and everything. I'm like, come here right now. He never came. He backed out. And I'm like, okay, I'm turning into something. So the next week, his brother, his name was Anthony. That's what it was. We called him Andy. So I don't want to confuse with my friend Andrew now, you know, but we called him Andy. And Anthony, he finally put his face in one day. I kind of like Jeremy wanted to hang out with him again. And since Anthony was kind of his best friend, I was like, okay, I don't like this guy. You know, I don't. You know, I'm kind of on edge these days. And finally, Anthony got in my face. Now, this is a kid who had no idea how to defend himself ever. And all of a sudden, he got my face, and I just lost it. And I pushed him so violently, he like flew back and fell into an oak tree, which twisted him around onto the ground. Bro, it was like, it's scary. You talk about a sobering moment. You push somebody out of anger, and they go back so violently that you're afraid you just broke something in them. And you realize you've been holding too much shit back for too long. And they're going to be the ones you take this out of. I told Jeremy that night, I'm like, you can never bring me around these bullies again. I'm going to total them. I'm going to eradicate them. And to stop my story now, believe it or not, there was many avenues for me to lose my temper later, which I did get to take it out on bullies. And I did make a habit of doing it. You know, I had just lost my dad. I had lost everything in the most violent, bloody way I could have ever seen. Huh?
So you had nothing to lose.
It's more like, I want you to make me hurt worse than I just hurt. because you can't do it. You know?
Oh, so you can feel something else.
Yeah, yeah, like House. Remember he like? Have you ever watched the House MD?
I
Remember
don't
that
know.
show?
I don't know where he says it in which. Yeah, I've seen it before.
Well, he had this pain in his leg. He eventually had to like hit his knuckles with a hammer to make the endorphins stop the pain in his leg. So, Sleestack, the man,
Yeah.
the legend.
Yeah, I
What
was
do you?
just listening.
Yeah, that was fun to get out because I've never really talked about that online. That was fun. I mean, not fun, but it's a thing. But we all have stories like that. We all have something like that, and that's what I'm trying to. I'm like, guys, like we all have. That's what Zion. I wish Zion was still in the stream because, we all feel that. We're all human.
Well, I might not be.
Sleestack's not human. Sleestack's a
that's
Sleestack.
correct.
Well, the Sleestack. How does Sleestacks deal with emotion?
We just drink beer, lots and lots of beer.
Is that Sleestack beer though, right?
Well, I don't know. I was brought over. I somehow got transported through a dimensional portal when I was young. Um, but yeah,
Zion's back in the house. Is Zion a Sleestack in disguise? I think he may.
who is Zion?
Zion's Zero Soul Zion. You've probably seen him in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely been around. He's feeling the stress of this internet thing that we all do.
Yeah.
It's very hard, and we've had others say it before, like you'll get offended and then they'll actually get to meet the person in real life and realize there's it's that's why I wish there was like a I know not all of us are Comicsgate. I am, but I know all of us aren't. But at least,
I am.
yeah, and
I mean, for whatever it's worth. I mean, for the 2 months that it lasts.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
kinda,
Well,
I know I only use the term because people were getting swatted and stuff, and it's like, okay, there's strength in numbers, but I don't really like using like labels and stuff.
Zion's hitting on something you and I hit on, and we're not allowed on, and we respect that. We respect that we're not allowed to bring this up in other chats, but he's feeling the drama more than the stress. To me, that's one and the same. But he's feeling the drama. You know what I mean?
And you never know some of these people. You never know. They could be like 2 feet tall in real life. It could be one of those
Sleestack. What is your height?
They could be one of those primordial dwarfs or something. Like, those.
Sleestack just admitted he's a midget.
Why not? But some of these people who go after people, it's hard to know. A lot of people are anonymous online.
Hey, I'm not gonna judge. I have a 1-inch dick and 5 kids. What am I gonna judge?
At least that doesn't matter.
At least I hope that's all my kids. Oh, if it was only that easy, I'd be out of here. No, I wouldn't be out of here. Like what am I worried about? My wife doesn't listen to this stream. Fuck it.
You might listen to one side of it, like half of it.
Yeah, she's like, nope. And it's not support, because dude, there is no person who's ever supported another person more than my wife supports all the fucking junk I do. So if she doesn't listen to the streams, I'm kind of happy that's my freedom place. And besides, my office is opened up to the living room, so a lot of times she catches me yammering on anyway. So Sleestack, what was your original? Do you have a picture of your original avatar? Because the reason I was so surprised that this was Avery's work, even though when you get up close to it, you can tell all those awesome stuff he does. That kind of tells you it's his work. How I seem to remember seeing your avatar like that for the longest time.
It was similar. He modeled off of something I had, and I was getting kind of nervous about it because I was going to start my own channel soon,
Uh-huh.
and it was something I found on the internet. It's not really a picture of me. It was of a different sleeve stack,
So
and
you're
you can tell like the light going into the sleeve stack, reflecting off the sleeve stack eyes. That was in the original picture,
well,
but I don't
my
have it in front of me.
my epicness that is an avatar is from the one, the only, the greatest John Dillard. So if you ever want to say, hey man, our Uncanny Kodiak's avatar is amazing, let him know.
I don't even see your avatar.
Right now, you probably, I should click over. I'm not doing anything. I got the One Punch Man thing I did the other day. Da, da, da.
Hey, you might need the 3-punch Superman.
It's probably the avatar from The Simpsons because he did a bunch of ones from The Simpsons.
Oh, really?
I did. I downloaded One Punch Man. Uh oh. What did I do? Okay, it doesn't work the same when I'm actually okay, this over here. Whew, that scared me. It was like, are you sure you want to exit? I'm like, no, what did I do? I forgot
So I think I saw your avatar before. Yeah,
yeah.
it's.
That's a John Dillard original. You can tell because I actually have hair on my head, not just my beard.
Oh, I
But
see. So it's not like yellow like a Simpsons character.
no.
Weren't some of those characters kind of like the Simpsons?
Um, I
Yeah,
think he was inspired. Go ahead. What?
maybe for albinos or something, or maybe I think the Asians were really real pale in The Simpsons, right?
Yeah, they are. They're kind of cream yellow. That sounded That sounded racist. It's all get out. They're kind of
Yellow.
well. See, I like that though. I like laughing at things because I believe there's a difference between racist and racial. And guess how? One of the people who helped me out with that terminology was Denzel, which I freaking love. I believe he's actually a closeted Republican, but we'll let him keep that because they'll eat him alive, even Denzel. But go ahead.
I wonder what happened if I was trying to get in the industry if I was any good and I'd say, I'm a rhino.
Yeah, because right now it used to be you could be like, man, politics. I don't even know. I don't even want to know.
Well, I could probably say I'm a rhino, but technically I wouldn't be lying because I'm more libertarian.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm middle ground. I'm like I said, I came out about the time they started attacking my friends and
Yeah, I registered as Republican. Then I voted all right I could. And then it didn't do jack shit
yeah.
where I'm from. Um, and then I saw Tucker Carlson did an interview with Ben Shapiro, and Ben asked him if he would ban like driverless trucks, and he said he would. I was like, what?
He said he would what now?
Tucker Carlson said if he could, he would ban driverless trucks.
Driverless trucks. Tucker Carlson. Is he left wing?
No, he's a
No,
news anchor.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, he has his own show, Tucker Carlson.
No, you can't see. You can't go full retard. You can't go full retard. Never go full retard.
I wouldn't. I'm not comfortable with those driverless vehicles.
I'm not either, but they look fucking dope, and they could, if
No, I'm cool with them because, like, if there's an accident, hey, yeah, the liability is not on me.
right that and well,
I would
here's
just be
the thing.
cautious with that new technology.
It's one of those things that if all vehicles were like that, traffic would never be because you're always scheduled to get in perfectly. Everything would slide like a machine, like in the wheel of cogs. Okay, but everything would have to be automated. Every car would have to be automated.
The
Oh no!
problem is that it requires humans to intervene if something messes up, and
Right.
so people kind of get kind of caught up in this whole thing that's driving
I
itself,
want
and
the
then
driverless
they
vehicle.
space out. They actually space out, and then there's a car accident because
Yeah.
they don't
I want
catch
them
it
to be
before it
so
makes a mistake.
I want these driverless vehicles to be so good they can accommodate for driving next to like those primitive monkeys, that that I called humans.
And that's
I mean,
that's
kind of
really
like
where
there's already cruise control, but this thing kind of drives itself until it doesn't, and then the human's supposed to suddenly get into the mode of where they're driving,
yeah.
and I think people just kind of space it out.
Every time I get in this conversation with anybody, I always think of the character from Demolition Man that's in the underground, and I can't think of the guy that plays him. The guy that was always pissed off in the '90s. Come to find out, he's a raving SJW. Uh, no, Leary, Dennis Leary.
Oh yeah, he's yeah. I used to like Dennis Leary, and then I realized he just kind of ripped off who was that comedian who he ripped Bill Hicks.
Was it a shtick? Yeah,
He just took Bill Hicks jokes and retold them.
that yeah. That's
I mean, have you seen the side
because
by
if
side
he felt that
comparison?
if he lived those jokes, what I found out later, he would not have been saying. That's what like what I said about Henry Rollins. Like he's always been pragmatic to me. I always felt like he was, no matter how left he seemed, he was always pragmatic enough to listen. And I still think he's a. But his stand up that he did the other day had literally a 10-minute bit that I ended up having to skip the last half of. That was talking about killing white people. Just go ahead and kill all the white dudes. He's like, and
Did I include you? Is he white?
Henry Rollins,
Yeah,
very
he's about as
white.
white as it
Yeah, can I
gets.
He's
kill him
a
too?
he's a punk rock icon. Punk
Not to
rock.
me.
Well, but he
I
is.
always, I always thought I always
Whether
thought
he
he was a, I
whether
always
he
thought he
is
was a
to,
douche.
whether he is to you or not, Henry Rollins is a punk rock icon. He is.
Yeah, but I always thought he was a douche, and not even like a cool punk rock way, just kind of a douchey way.
I always liked him, but it's because
Well, musically, his music's great, but
the thing is his music. I only like one or two of his songs. I know he's the leader of the Black Flag. I mean, I know but that was like
yeah, that was a great band. I
and for
just
3 years in the
there's something
80s.
about him that I always knew was off.
Yeah.
And
Well, he
I
says
mean,
that. I mean, he was abused by his mother and father so much so he doesn't want to have a kid because to spite them, he doesn't want to propel their genetics. That's really how creepy it is. So, anytime somebody starts talking to me about and here this is a tough thing for me because there's 8 billion people on this planet. That's a lot of freaking people.
Yeah.
And we're already stupid as it is. Imagine when it gets 14 billion people. Jesus. But I still, even with that, can't at all comprehend how any humankind can start saying it's okay to abort. Just even if there's not just like let's just how loose they seem to be with it. It's just kind of like, dude, every bad story that ever you learned about, whether it's in the Bible, whether in anything, it was always ended with them sacrifice. Anytime there was like this about to be this failure of a society, they were sacrificing their babies.
oh, do you know Antifa now? Like they lump anti-abortion and Nazism together.
The fuck.
It doesn't even make any
It's about
sense.
we're about to see. I mean, this
They,
swing
they,
this swing to the left is going to be short lived.
They're so bad. They put in. They're saying that libertarians are like fascists. Like, yeah. How does that work if they don't believe if they want small government?
And
yeah,
how
that's the thing is, some libertarians are like maybe divided on like they say abortion, but I think a lot of them would go along would say should be legal.
Yeah.
So that just goes and kind of, they don't. But the Antifa people are just, they're just self contradictory.
Yeah.
I
Here's the
mean,
thing.
because I think because a lot of libertarians are culturally liberal.
Yeah.
They just want to keep. I mean, they want to keep, or they want to get the government out of people's private business.
I liked what who's the wrestler that became the Minnesota governor? He was the first libertarian I knew. And
Well, Jesse Ventura, he's yeah, I think he was ran as an independent.
he's
He's
libertarian.
like all over the map politically, but yeah, I'd say he's kind of
Libertarian. He's
small.
straight up. He's exactly, and this is his thing. This is his stick. 100% socially, socially liberal, and
Fiscally
fiscally
conservative.
conservative. That's
Yeah.
around. That's around where I'm at. The
No,
only problem.
there's straw men that say, "Oh, so you want the rich to get rich and the poor to get poor." They
Yeah,
always say that's a straw men for like people that say that they're physically conservative.
yeah. It's, that's and that's not. It's just like not what I seen. I mean, oh, it's
Yeah,
just
in San Francisco, like look at California. Are they rich getting richer and the poor getting poor? Yeah. When was the last time they they vote Republican? What was the last time San Francisco voted Republican for the governor?
Oh,
Like,
but don't you know, if you don't agree right now, this is the weird thing that pushed me out is because I could never the two small things that became bigger things. Well, no, there's one big thing and then there was one small thing. The big thing that I couldn't go left on was abortion. I just could not do it. Couldn't. And I couldn't comprehend how that was becoming a thing. I just couldn't. Like, find a better way. Just find a better. I'm not Catholic or anything like that. I'm not. And what I mean is the extreme Catholicism where it's like you can't even wear a condom. That's whatever. No,
Do you remember what
you
Bill
can use
Clinton
all that
said?
stuff. But once that thing becomes a fetus, it is a life. If
You
you
remember
stay
Bill
out of
Clinton said abortion should be rare but legal, and now he'd probably be called a Nazi for saying that.
yeah,
Saying the rare part.
and he wouldn't. And now he wouldn't say that. But yeah, anybody who would yeah.
Because that was like something that because he would like take these positions that were kind of nowadays he'd be called a Nazi for if it was anything but Bill Clinton, he'd be called a Nazi for the things he said and done.
I've been
Even
rewatching.
Bill might call him a Nazi.
Yeah.
Because it's not Hillary.
Some of the stuff that Hillary said was so horrible, and that nobody, and I love those.
When she was running for president, there were so many things that. Well, Bill Clinton was saying all sorts of racist things.
I love the things where they go out
running for president, like
I love the things where they go out on
all
the
sorts
street.
of things against Barack Obama, and I don't like Barack Obama. I'm just saying that. I mean, it really was a disappointment for me.
The
I had
things
voted for him the first time,
and they quote her, but they don't tell people it's her. And people are like, "That's absolutely horrible. What politician in that?" And they're like, "It's Hillary Clinton." And they're like,
"Yeah, the super predators comment."
You also tell them about Trump's plans, and you say it's Bernie's plan. It's like,
yeah,
it's a good idea.
Yeah. I know some Bernie supporters who actually, because Bernie wasn't on the ballot, thanks to Hillary. You know about that, the DNC.
Yeah,
the DNC leaks reveal all that stuff, and then they voted for Trump.
This is legitimate.
So that's why I had to look into Trump, and it's like, okay, well, I thought maybe Trump was like a fascist or something, and I looked into him, and it's like, well,
right.
He has some things I don't agree with, but he doesn't seem to be like a Hitler-style Nazi. So,
what happened?
That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Stand Trump. I couldn't stand Trump. I definitely wasn't going Hitler. I actually said Hitler. That was Freudian.
Hillary Clinton.
But I did not like Trump. And after he won, I actually felt this relief, and I'm watching it that night. And then I seen people's reaction. I'm like, man, that's odd. Y'all are overreacting. And then every week, I'm like, I would hear something. I'm like, I don't know if I like him. And my best friend, well, my current good friend, he Yeah, he's my best friend. He'd come over and he's like, "How do you feel about Trump this week?" I'm like, "Dude, he still says stupid things, blah blah blah." And the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and then around the time that we got around a year, and I realized he's done away with war. Like he's still washing up other people's dirt. No, don't even,
Oh,
bro.
come
This
on,
is the
come
first,
on, come on.
this is the first time. No. This is the first
escalated
time in
with Russia.
70 years.
He's called. You know that
What are you talking about? Hillary Clinton wanted World War III.
Collaborating with Russia,
He
like
was
the
poking
Democrats.
Russia like you wouldn't believe. He
He sold
de-escalated
arms to
everything.
Ukraine.
He de-escalated North Korea. He
Well, yeah, he did
de-escalated
that.
everything. He literally, the only wars on his hand, the only bombings he's done was leftover bullshit from other presidents.
Yeah,
This
but
is the first time
he also scrapped a nuclear deal. I mean, anti-nuclear proliferation deal with Russia.
Did it lead to World War? No, it led to
Ukrainians
Putin
who
going,
are
oh,
fighting.
it led to Putin go, oh, you're a strong dude who stands by your and Putin. Did Putin go to war with him? No, because Hillary wanted the war with him. Why did Hillary want the war? Because she wanted to bury some bullshit, and she's got the industrial war complex has got the freaking, and I probably worded that wrong, but got her proven. You can actually look up her supporters.
Yeah,
they want war. Politicians want war.
We've
known this in World War II.
Trump actually
industrial
has
war complex. Is that worded right, Kami?
In military industrial
complex.
They make money off of war. The more airplanes and helicopters with bombs they can sell.
Yeah.
GM had the biggest during World War II, which was one we don't even realize how bad it was happening during World War II. GM sued the United States for bombing their fucking factories. This is fact. You can Wikipedia it. You
mean the ones in Nazi Germany?
Yeah,
the ones that they in Ford had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ford, was it Ford? Yeah, Ford and GM.
Ford and GM
it was Ford that sued. You're right.
Thank you for that. Both sides of the war.
Oh God, it's so ugly. Now all of a sudden we have the most hated guy, and he's not a likable guy. He says some stupid shit. But oddly enough, we do not have a war right now we're fighting.
Well, we're fighting like 7 wars.
No, we're fighting one war, social war. That's all the only war we're really truly fighting.
The U.S. is in Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, several other places.
Like I said, cleaning up other people, other presidents' bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of it is that. I'm just saying that nuclear. What I'm saying is like he's done the opposite of what the Democrats are saying. He hasn't made peace with Putin. He's actually he's making peace with North Korea, which I think is good. I wish he would make peace with Putin.
I don't know if you remember.
I don't see Putin as being our enemy.
Zion says, I just wanted to say thanks for helping me out on my perspective situation, dude. I appreciate it. Anytime, Zion. Anytime. Right on. Because I feel it too. Every now and then I feel it too. And sometimes I catch myself it's wrong, and sometimes sometimes I see that it's right, and I just pull back for a while. You can't let them keep you from being you at all. Ever.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Those bullies.
But this is okay. At least, and I love this. At least, like we've been waiting for this, haven't we? To be let loose, and we respect that on other people, channel, to want to keep it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like discussing current events makes something like more limited as far as appeal. Like in the future, 10 years from now, maybe none of this will even matter.
Right.
The current event stuff and the SJWs and stuff, but the art will last.
With me, if I don't talk about this stuff, you might not say something that makes me totally go, hey, I got to look at that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm way
about it's worth having these discussions. I mean, like I agree that Hillary was so hawkish. It's just I wish that Trump was like friendly towards Russia, but he really isn't.
I'm actually glad it wasn't her. I'm glad it was her and not somebody like Elizabeth Warren or even Bernie, because I think it was her that shook me out of the drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well,
The
it's the thing is that we're supposed to believe that like Hillary and Trump are such enemies that we should have like they were like on the verge of like maybe even a civil war over all this nonsense, and yet they were just in the Trump and Bill Clinton were going out golfing just like was it 4 or 5 years ago?
yeah, just before it. Yeah.
Yeah, right before the elections,
Well, they
they were going out
mentioned
golfing.
just before he became serious, before everybody started taking Trump seriously, which they
Really,
didn't.
just a couple of years ago, or
Yeah,
2 or 3 years
they
ago,
were
they were.
they were
Well,
saying how, oh, the Clintons must feel betrayed. The Clintons, because he refused to pet the big bad. Man, there's stories about the Clintons and Hollywood parties all the way back to the 90s. They've partied and drank and smoozed it up way back to the 90s.
yeah.
They've been gaining. That's why they were practically in. That's why the Democratic Party is so weird looking these days. Is because they literally had a huge power within it because of all their what would you call that, grandfathering in, smoozing, whatever it was.
Hmm.
And the thing that lost me, the thing that shook me loose, and I wish, and I can't, nobody will ever listen to me that's on the left. Until they're free from it, until they're free from the matrix, they won't listen to me. The thing that shook me, a violent supporter of the left, loose, was when Obama and Michelle asked me to vote for the very person they turned into a villain. They turned
Who
in
was this?
2002 and 2008. Michelle Obama gave a speech to me that told me that all Hillary's faults, and
Oh yeah,
all those horrible things she used to do. I remember
and
watching her.
Sanders did the same thing and then backed her.
Oh yeah, and Obama is like they went after her. Matter of fact, there was this thing, and I keep remembering almost like this birther thing. I seem to remember it did come out of the Hillary Clinton camp, but nobody can prove it. And I just
They
have this.
went and what they did is they went and made a big deal about him, the fact that he was growing up in Indonesia, spent time in Indonesia as a kid, and because he was
Right.
making a big deal about that, and so they went and
And who became
they
a
might
big
not have said that he was born in a different country, but what they did is they made him seem like he was less American
now we're getting
because of
down
all.
now we're getting down into the conspiracy
And,
theories.
and then, so they might
No,
not
no,
have
for me,
said
I'm
he
gonna give
had
you
a
one.
foreign
I'm gonna give
birth
you one.
certificate, but I do know that
I'm
the
gonna give you.
Republicans built upon what the Hillary Clinton had said.
Now I'm gonna give you a quote because, for lack of a better word, a conspiracy theory. Who became the biggest component of the birther movement? Donald Trump, who
Yeah,
was
he was
doing
the
a
type of
lot of
dude.
hanging out, who was doing a lot of hanging out
The
with
Clintons.
the Clintons.
Yeah,
Donald Trump.
they were all
Who thought Donald Trump was going to support them? The
the
Clintons.
Clintons. Yep.
Come on, guys. He
Yeah.
was playing them from the get go. He's like, nah, dude, y'all are kind of shady. You're even shadier than me. I've done my partying. I have my girls in my closet, but you know what? You guys are creepy. So that's why I hate Donald Trump. But at the same time, I hired the dude to do a job, and the job he's doing has nothing to do with his past job. Well, I actually
Well,
didn't vote for him, so I didn't hire him.
he's the Trump derangement syndrome is just
It's
ridiculous
weird.
because they're just acting the same way. They're acting worse than the birthers were. Well, they're acting like the people who are calling Obama the Antichrist.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
they're just
Exactly.
acting like, and they're just acting stupid.
Exactly.
That was funny when somebody spelled it wrong. Obama's the Antichrist, and then and then somebody showed a picture of an ant carrying a big huge crucifix with Obama's face on it.
Saying I don't think I don't.
Huh.
I don't know how much I've been influenced because I used to not think when I first come out of being the Obamanite is the term I coined. I think I've heard it elsewhere, so I might not have coined it. I might have just took it out of the back of my brain, overheard it. But Obamanite, which I was posting. You can go on back in my Facebook if you go back far enough, you'll see pictures of like Obama and his wife dancing and stuff like that. Because yeah, I had it bad. And what was I saying? I lost myself. I lost my mind. I lost my words.
Mine years ago.
Oh wow. Uh it all added up. I didn't vote for Trump, but if I want to see what happens, there might. I always have to take myself back and go, "Are you just going? Damn, I want to see what the fuck happens."
Well, he's he's going and he's fulfilling some of the Clintons' promises, like renegotiating NAFTA, and that would be interesting to see what happens because this is something the Democrats promise, and decades later, never even they still wouldn't do.
That's a
They
thing,
scrapped the transatlantic trade partnership thing, which was a classified bill that we the people weren't supposed to read the bill, and
Yeah.
Congress was supposed to pass it. Obama had fast tracked it to make it easier to pass, and then but Trump scrapped it. So
the famous "You'd Be in Jail" clip. I watched it live. A lot of people did, but now we clipped it, and it's Hillary Clinton saying, "The world would be in trouble if you were in charge of our justice." Blah blah blah, and he goes, "Yeah, because you'd be in jail."
yeah,
Most epic comeback in the history of comebacks, right? When you look at her face, she doesn't look surprised. She looks betrayed. At every turn, what she and Bill, I feel, is that he got close to them to know all their dirty secrets, and they could not penetrate that. That's what he did. That was wise. And now that he's president, it seems like he's turned up a whole bunch of their dirty secrets. So how much did this man know beforehand? I'm not giving him that much credit, but at the same time, I'm wondering, you're just wondering because there's a lot of things he's turning up there that, first of all, people should be a lot more pissed off than they as far as a society. Yet all they can come up with is, you know what? I'm at the Grammys. I'm accepting this big golden statue, and I'm going to use my 5 minutes to say 2 words. Fuck Trump. Nothing intelligent. They say nothing intelligent. And if they did, they might make me listen. They might make me listen. But
what
when
they're
you
doing
say
is they're going off and like threatening the president, and then they're surprised if the Secret Service shows up to their house.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like
yeah, I got a headache.
I'm sorry. Did we?
No, I have a headache.
We went off in too much derangement talk, huh?
No, I literally do have a headache. It's not like, not now, honey, I have a headache. No, I actually do have a headache.
But
All
it's
right.
like 3 a.m.
I hear that too much
here.
every time I try. Okay, call me, dude. You're welcome anytime. Do you have a channel that you're putting videos on?
No.
No. Well, say something stupid before you leave.
Something stupid before you leave.
See, that's the way we rock. All right, brother.
Well, that's cool. Take care. I dropped out.
Yeah. But yeah, you see, here's the thing. I didn't vote for Trump. Would I vote for him next
Yeah, I
time?
didn't either.
I thought you were Canadian.
I'm Sleestackian. But I live in the American side of the Great Lakes region, so
I voted
and I'm a citizen. even though I'm a sleaze.
You want to hear something funny? I voted Libertarian. I can't even remember the dude's name.
Oh, Gary Johnson.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, I
have.
don't.
You can go.
His policies aren't as good as what I would.
No, I did. I have
I
to
think he's
admit
for private. Actually, it's for private prisons,
that dude
which
was
doesn't
never
seem
going to
very
win.
libertarian to me.
Before him, before Trump had taken the Republican, I was really, and I still think this guy would have been, and everybody said he was too quiet or whatever, but I think he was important. But
Who?
the doctor.
Oh, okay, Dr. Ron Paul.
No,
Yeah. Oh, not Dr. Ron Paul.
no. The doctor. They said Ron Paul is not soft spoken at all.
Okay.
Oh man, what was his name? Ben Carson. I should have known that. It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while. I was because I forgot about that. That was overshadowed by all the other bullshit that followed it. But
I
for a
never
while,
really got into him.
I
But there's so many
you know why we didn't get
Republican
into him?
candidates.
Yeah, you know why we didn't get into him?
Well, I thought he was involved with like the religious right, and I wasn't really. I mean, but I'm not really into that.
Oh, I don't
I
know
mean, like
about
the
that.
whole.
I would sacrifice certain things on his religious beliefs to I don't know, I wouldn't maybe. He might not have been able to
But I'm not sure. I didn't really know much about him. Just there's so many different candidates.
Do you
There were
know
just so way too many. The Republicans have several candidates they run, and the Democrats have like it's like only like one or two that they'll run, and
what really
Republicans
stresses
actually
me?
have a bigger. They actually do have a big tent, I think, whereas the Democrats have like this just my way or the highway attitude.
Yeah,
It's they're actually having a division now
yeah,
in their
and they're
party, but the Republicans seem to have a wider range of. I mean, I was quite surprised to see people who were actually more like used to be like there'd be Bernie Sanders, and then there'd be all these people who were kind of like Pelosi. Now there's a lot of more of these Bernie Sanders people. At one time, I would have liked that, but now I don't.
That's
like it.
all I wish other people would realize is that Trump is the anti-politician. You're sitting here naming all these names, and I realize, oh God, I hate that guy. Oh God, and then yeah, I know I have friends. I've joined Comicsgate and I've joined a right-wing movement, but the reason I joined it is more for freedom of speech and not
Yeah, it's not
what.
necessarily a right wing movement. It's supposed to be about getting the identity politics on either side out.
And that's worded wrong, by the way. That politics was never in comics, and then the other side is politics was ever in comics.
Well,
you are both wrong, my friend. Politics was always in comics,
but was it racial identity politics?
No, it wasn't identity. It was not identity politics, but you could argue that too with Neil Adams and stuff. It was healthy. There was a certain amount of healthiness in Black Panther in John
wasn't it more like
Green Lantern.
But wasn't it like Dr. King than the
here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Nowadays,
you're not going to have a far left without. You're not going to have a left. Let's just forget the far crap. You're not going to have a left point of view without some. You can have a person that has the same thing we do. You and I guarantee you, if you sat down with an hour of each of us, you're going to have a list on both the left and the right side that we believe in or we're toying with. And tomorrow we may believe completely different. We may have been convinced different. That's the part of being human. The internet has taken the human out of it, and now in politics they're able to say, "You voted for this back in 1979, 40 years ago."
What
That's
I don't
who
like
you are
is
today.
like when segregationists are making comic books and trying to make us agree with it, and it's like, well, wait a second, these are like white women making comic books. And they're preaching this identity politics that would lead to segregation, which was what Dr. King was against.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
and then they're calling everybody Nazis, and it's like, well, this is actually what the Klan and the Nazis are advocating. They're
Actually,
making
still,
books that like David Duke could probably praise if they weren't ripping on white people. If they rip on white people a little less, they could be David Duke would probably be praising these SJW books. In fact, there's probably ones that his type are already praising.
well, I just actually, I say this relatively. I need a new one because the old one just recently got tossed. It just was filled with too many holes. But I still to this day wear a Dr. King shirt, so to speak. I need a new one. But
Yeah,
the reason I do is because I would love to sit down with that man. He was a Republican. I'd love to sit down with that man and pick his brain, especially from he actually seen certain things that no one else who grew up in this America, black or white, has seen. He has seen. I would
he
like
actually
I
was. He was actually
and the thing is I would disagree with a number of things and I would agree with things or I would come to
he was
see or
actually advocating a modified form of socialism. Believe it or not.
King
But
was.
what do you, Dr. King?
And in what way?
Well, I don't know. He just said the America could use a modified form of socialism.
Uh,
You remember he was like anti-war. He was like pro. He was anti-states. What was
was
it?
he
He was like
anti-war in the form of speak softly and carry a big stick, or was he anti-war as in
he
let's
opposed the
become
Vietnam
cuckold?
War because they were just sending lots of black
Well,
people.
the Vietnam War was a bullshit, so he was
Were
anti.
in the
So
military. There's lots of minorities in the military.
so being anti-Vietnam War is different than being anti-war, and I'm 100% anti-war, but at the same time, speak softly, carry a big stick. You're not going to take my at the same time of being anti-war. I still want to carry my guns. Was one of the
Well, he
things.
just didn't see that there was any sort of. He was against the Vietnam War because he didn't really see it as benefiting America.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is his position. I'm not saying that to slam on the veterans or anything of that war.
No,
Just
no, no,
being that was
absolutely.
his my understanding of his position. It was also like supporting black. It was like also supporting like these garbage truck these was it were these these trash collectors or garbage men who were out protesting. He was I mean he was like in a union rights and so he had kind of but I don't know maybe he was a Republican but there was like a lot of really confusing stuff with what the Republicans and Democrats are constantly changing what they believe in.
Yeah, this is the
Like
first
like
time where you have to believe in everything they believe in, or you're against them. That's what's
yeah,
weird.
like the it used to be that the Democrats, it used to be the left was the ones speaking against
If you gave me a
globalization.
thing, if you gave me a yes no thing right here, and it says, "Are you pro-abortion?" I'd say no. It says, "Are you okay with gay marriage?" I'd say yes. That's fine. It doesn't affect me. There's nothing that burns my goat.
Well, this is a strange thing, as a very strange moment in history where it seems like the Republican, like Trump's adopting things that the Democrats used to believe in, like the Democrats used to be into renegotiating NAFTA. They used to be against globalization.
Mhm.
It used to be like some of the Republicans, I think, who were into, or maybe like the Koch brothers were into like open borders. I think.
Do you think it's the
And those
corporations
the
that are
Democrats. Yeah, they're
the
yeah. It
powerful
used to be the
corporations
Democrats
that are
were
pushing
the Democrats
globalism?
used to be against corporations, and now they're the ones asking corporations to censor people. It
Because
makes
they
no,
lost a lot of the power and now they're trying they
it's
well,
so weird. It's like totally flip flopped, and I don't see how people can how someone could be like on the left and not see that it completely flip flopped.
right. Well, you can't be on the right. You see, if you ask me, the current president isn't really the current president kind of your first. Well, would he be your first Independent. Yeah, he ran on the
He
Republican.
seems kind of like a Democrat would have been in the 1990s. You know, like a
Or
Clinton style, like what the Clintons were
he's
claiming they
definitely
were.
an open door. I would hope he's an open door to independent president because
Yeah,
we
it's kind
need.
of hard in our system to have.
I have things that would be considered right wing. I have things that would be considered left wing. That's it.
Yeah,
And I think
a lot
everybody.
of people are in the center.
Yeah, that's.
Or,
I think more people are centered than they realize. Even to Naple, like I told you, I keep saying he's one of my favorite people. Even though I disagree with him a lot, I agree with him a lot. And this guy has strove. That's a word, right? That is a
I
word.
think so.
He
I don't.
strove to bring a transvestite person on his stream. He's very kind to that person. That person was very kind to him. He strove to, for the guy who thinks that
Yeah, strove is in the dictionary. So
yeah, for a guy who claims that everything is trash, he sure seems to be trying to look for the cleaner side of life. Like I don't want to hate any of my friends, right or left. And at least that seed, if it's just that, has been planted in me and go to remind me who I am, is the guy who, uh I've lost track of all my friends. All my friends are online now except my wife, I hope she's not digital. That would explain a lot. But you know, I've had a lot of friends that are alternative who are gay. There was one friend who was pre-op trans.
yeah,
She was gonna go male. I at the time, I remember, this is back when my wife and I just got married, and I didn't understand it. And I let her and her girlfriend know this, and they were so kind about it back then to explain, their feelings on the thing. Um, and to understand that I can't comprehend not wanting to be who you were born, that kind of thing.
now if you don't let a 3-year-old transition, you're a Nazi.
Yeah,
Even if you
that's
would
just
be
weird.
okay
It's
with
not happening.
grown adults
Yeah,
making the decision.
National Socialist.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of so crazy. Like
Bro, I've been watching Band. You remember Band of Brothers? You ever watch that one?
I've heard good things about it, but
And it's amazing. But I'm on like the 4th or 5th episode, and that's just it's around about the time that HBO was just starting to do their own stuff, and it's amazing. It's definitely a must watch. But here's these guys that are in the dirt, they're in the trenches, they're in the blood, they're in the pools of blood, they're in the pools of their own blood. They're missing limbs, they're missing this. The greatest generation fighting a war where they're fighting actual Nazis. I really get offended when people start using the word Nazis over every little thing, because go watch this movie. Go watch this miniseries. It, by today's standards, it's definitely Hollywoodized.
yeah, some guy on Facebook told me I had a stick up my butt because I didn't think it was a good idea for him to go around threatening to assassinate the president of the United States.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
this is just insane.
Yeah,
I was just like I was just saying this is like it wouldn't make any sense. You're not going to get anything better. It's just it would lead to a crackdown on the left.
yeah.
It would do also. It would be just completely pointless. It's just people. They're just not logical.
There's something weird
But he
going.
claimed that Trump was an actual Nazi, and it
Did
just
you see
doesn't
that
make any.
thing about the Florida girl who drove up to try to make it to Columbine to reenact the
I heard
Columbine?
about that.
Holy, yeah, we were on the the stream with Andrew when he mentioned it.
Yeah,
Then my wife sent me a picture of it. She's a young, beautiful girl. I don't know what that has to do with it. Anybody can be mentally, but she was a young, beautiful girl. People said she was smart in class, which really hit close to home because I have 4 really well graded kids in school. and they said she was smart and intellectual, and they would have never seen it coming. And I hate that. I never seen it coming. It's like fuck, It's like this girl drove up to freaking the area of Columbine, bought a shotgun, couldn't get in any of the schools, and then was like depressed that she couldn't go shoot up a school and reenact Columbine, so she shot herself. Dude, what kind of is there hypnosis in the water? The internet water, maybe? What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know.
It's
I
creepy.
just think people are just not thinking things through.
All right, Zion, if you're still in here later, brother. Well, I think we got it out of our system, Sleestack.
I think we got it all over Cecil.
Yeah, we got it out of our Cecil.
I don't know what's about. It's it's past
Cecil's
3
somebody I
a.m.
would like to talk to. Yeah, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Cecil's somebody I'd like to talk to because there's a lot of fans that keep insisting he's right wing, and I'm like, no, Cecil is it has claimed in all seriousness that he's a registered.
I think he's a Hillary supporter.
Is he? Oh, I didn't even know that, and see that makes me want to talk to him even more because dude, literally, that's what I was saying. You could have put Elizabeth Warren in front of me at the right time, and I would still be drinking the Kool-Aid. I would have not pulled out. I would probably still think you know.
Yeah, it's just that there's so much stuff that and I didn't even like the Bill Clinton when I first heard about him. There are people like who were more along my lines, like Paul Tsongas, I think, was like seemed like he was maybe more maybe a little more liberal.
Yeah.
Maybe he was like Bill Clinton was always like this guy who was like, what was it? Wasn't he like?
Was you older? I was trying.
He was like executing pro death penalty, pro like executing drug dealers or something like that. Really, it's always seemed kind of extreme to me.
Yeah.
Even when I was running,
Was you
when I was
old
in
enough
high
to
school.
vote? Was you old enough to vote?
No, I was in high school, and
Oh.
I still thought he was. I still was like, but I was into like I remember in elementary school, just like disliking Reagan.
Oh, you disliked Reagan as well.
Well, because my brother didn't like Reagan.
Huh.
First I liked him. Like I thought I remember watching the presidential debates, and he was going after Mondale, and he seemed to like do a pretty impressive job, at least to me as a kid. But later on, I didn't really like him.
Yeah.
Like the Iran-Contra thing.
I was definitely too young to not be influenced by popular culture with Reagan, so I was like, I remember, dude, I'm obviously like, not quite a few. I'm still within the same 10 year, but I'm a little bit younger than you. Young enough that I was still. Hold on, let me think. What year did Bush win? 88 or 89?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, 88 or 89. So technically I was still under 10, so I was born in 81, so yeah, I was still young enough to more be influenced by popular culture and the things that I was allowed to see, so like just
you might have been more you might have been, because I was kind of the tail end of Gen X. You might technically be millennial, but not
I am technically
the extreme.
I am legitimately
kind of millennial.
I am legitimately yes. I am legitimately now that we're past and into Gen Z, we can officially do all that blah blah blah. I'm the very first year of millennial because the way the millennial thing works is if you were a teenager, if you were in any way, shape, or form a teenager when Y2K hit, when year 2000 hit, you're a millennial. So
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
here's
It's really there's a lot of overlap between the tail end of Gen X
yeah.
and millennial, or people born in millennial, like at the time you were.
See, I
I
was
mean, it's
always
not,
told we were going to be always heard thrown around that we were going to be called Generation Tech. So this millennial thing just came post the millennium.
I
And
just remember hearing like Gen Y.
Gen Y was another thing I heard Pat
Yeah, this
post.
millennial thing is kind of a newer label.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
mean,
is.
at least to me.
It is. It is. And uh so that would make the Columbine kids Gen Gen millennial. So
Yeah, it's do you ever see the War on Kids? There was this documentary, and it deals with the Columbine shooting, just like how bad the schools were getting, like how
oh,
restrictive. And after the Columbine shooting, they got even more restrictive. Like as far as it's adding all these rules isn't going to cause kids to like school any better.
yeah.
And obviously shooting up the schools a bad idea. Don't do that, kids. but
Was
but
that pointed at me? That list was fake, okay? It was just imagination,
oh,
okay?
I forgot. I totally forgot about
Yeah,
that. But
I was like,
but
no,
it's
that's just
just
it.
it's just it's just the idea though that
Lots of kids did have and still do have lists of kids
they're
they
having
hate.
like they have like gun shooting like drill. They have shooting drills
Yeah,
where
my
kids
sister had to
prepare for
go.
mass shooting.
My
That's
sister,
not what sort of idea is that going to put in a kid's head?
yeah, my sister had to go play a dead body in one of those.
Oh wow.
Yep. Hey, wait,
See, that's the thing is like I wonder how much of it is the media just focusing on those things nonstop and milking it for ratings when those things happen.
I mean, think this girl who had the problem of going and trying to reenact Columbine. Where did she find out about Columbine? Hmm. She's 18. She's under 18. She might have been just in her 18th
I mean,
year.
they've had quite a few of
So
those shootings after that too,
yeah, but
and
she
yet
was trying to
she's obsessed with
she was
Columbine.
she's obsessed, and I've already heard this. I've already heard people. There's literally deviant art used to have this whole big huge section of people who were in love with those two boys, and dude, and they used to have this whole section of people who would draw their suicide scene.
You
They,
remember after that they blamed Doom. They blamed
blamed
the video
Manson.
game
They blamed
Doom. They blamed
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson. They blamed trench coats.
Yeah, they blamed, which was Matrix.
Oh, okay. And
And yeah, you were right about Doom. The
it turned
video.
out that those kids went bowling that day.
Yeah,
And Michael Moore did the bowling for Columbine, which was a brilliant idea. But then he went and he made it like an anti-gun movie, and yet the
I
whole
never
thing was
watched
they
it.
went bowling. Like there's nothing connecting bowling to Columbine. It was just like something they did was their hobby, like wearing trench coats. None of that stuff made them mass killers.
I used to be a big inside jobber. I don't know if I made that up that term, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, yeah, a lot of that was a very popular thing on the left, that the conspiracy theory about
It's one
uh,
of the things that made YouTube huge was all the videos on
and that's
Truth
what Alex Jones shares in common
Oh yeah.
with the left wing conspiracy theorist, was the 9/11 inside job thing.
Yes. Yes. He was one I remember because I used to totally be into him when I was in on flying high with the left wing. I was huge into Alex Jones. I found him through my beliefs in the inside job theory. Okay.
Yeah,
And
nowadays they're trying to
and
claim he's far right, and yet that
yeah,
was a
he
wing
was so
conspiracy there.
hatred. I found Alex Jones when Bush was still president. A matter of fact, Alex Jones was one of the reasons I started turning towards politically Obama. It wasn't until after Obama was made president and things that he had done to get to be president started coming out that Alex Jones started talking against him. And I started going, wait. You're the
Yeah,
whole.
that Obama deception, I think was the name of the video.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how much of that was accurate or whatnot.
No. That's when I started to think he's just playing. And this is literally what I thought. I didn't think, oh, Obama's a bad guy. I thought, oh, this guy that I've listened to for this long is just, he's it's his newest Brie Larson. He's moved on to the next topic to make him
Yeah.
money. It's somebody to hate and somebody to drum up business.
The thing is that I think what happened with Alex Jones is he had so many different conspiracy theories that he was peddling that he got something right when he says, well, something's going to happen sometime, somewhere, some terrorist attack, and it did happen. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much detail he had, but
One
that place had been bombed. It had actually been physically bombed before.
funny enough, the one
The
that he got sued for, the one that shut him down, that thing's always been fishy to me. As big as I used to send, I used to get on my social media high horse, and I used to be like, Sandy Hook is such a travesty. It sucks so bad. And then other people would attack me like, have you seen any dead bodies? I mean, I can literally tell you, I can literally right now draw a picture of every dead body in Columbine. I've had every picture. It's supposed to be public knowledge. You can find all these things. You cannot still to this day find Sandy Hook. Now
I believe the kids died there. I don't know if they've I don't know if we'll ever find out all the details of what happened there.
well,
I believe there was a mass shooting and the kids died.
if it's
But I don't know
beyond,
every detail about the thing.
if it's anything beyond the narrative, which is anything
I
beyond,
think they used it to. I think they capitalized on a real event. I think
I
that these
thought
things
so
happen.
too. I thought so too, but then I was literally shown. I can still show you. They can't hide all this off the internet. There
I
is
mean, even Alex
what is
Jones says he
what is
now believes that it.
he did back out of that because he got sued, but
Yeah,
that
but I
doesn't
think
stop the stuff
genuinely.
that. What about the crisis actors? That was legitimate stuff. That was not something that Alex Jones even brought to the table. The crisis.
I don't know. All I know is but I don't I've never the politicians never in Washington D.C. and never in state, maybe even local politicians. There's politicians who never miss an opportunity to milk some
I
tragedy.
I was going to say I agree with you. If there was crisis actors, it would be completely legitimate to say they were hired to pump up the situation.
There might have been, who knows, there might be some stuff. There's probably stuff that was inaccurate that these news outlets were promoting. Whether or not there were crisis actors, I don't know anything about
It
it.
wouldn't be the
I
first
think there
time,
was a real genuine event
right?
but they're gonna spin it in such a way to make it
Right.
seem like
It
we
wouldn't
need
be
to
the first
control our
time that
guns,
it wouldn't be.
which I mean, I've seen ours, but I don't have any guns. But they want people to give away their give up their guns, and so they're going to go and take that tragedy, which I believe really did happen, and they're going to take it and pervert it and twist it around in such a way that fits their narrative, regardless of what would really happen. Which I think it was. I think that we got a country so big, it's inevitable that there's going to be some mass shootings. I don't think it's even that. I don't think it's necessarily as bad per capita. I've heard when people take a look at those statistics, it's not really. I mean, compared to other countries, just other massive countries, I don't think it's that big of a, a big of a. I mean, it's a problem, a serious problem, but I don't think it's. I think it's a serious problem that when you got like 50
It's
states.
kind of like what I was telling my wife the other day with she was like, flying is still safer than driving. I'm like, no, not necessarily. There's more cars on the road. That's why there's more accidents.
I
Uh,
think if we had like, I think if we had, I think if only the gang members had guns, I think it'd be even worse. Is
right.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely agree.
because
That's
I
where
think
I'm at.
there's countries with gun control that are just completely. They're just comparing. They're comparing like America to like maybe like some tiny Scandinavian country, and they're look at how gun control works. Meanwhile, in England, they're constantly stabbing one another in
Yeah,
like
I saw
in
that.
some of the big cities. I remember reading some article years ago where somebody was throwing a vegetable, killed somebody like with a tomato or something. I have no idea. That
Yeah.
doesn't even sound possible, but they'll figure out something.
That's the point. They'll figure out something. And then you're left without anything to protect yourself.
Yeah, but I can't say about to even focus on something like one particular mass shooting. I think is to lose the point. That it's this overall narrative that guns are bad, except for when, like, say, except for criminals will be able to have them anyway. And then if Trump really were a Nazi, why would we want him to take away our guns?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is one. I'm just saying that's what the Democrats say. There's no logical consistency. Because wouldn't it be a fascist government that would want us not to have guns?
See, I told this to somebody that the problem they have with running their narrative with Trump is we can go back to the pictures where he's hanging out with Muhammad Ali. We can go back to the picture where he's in this hip hop magazine. I mean, not magazine, but video. We can go back. He's been part of popular culture too long for you to keep painting this narrative. We've always known he was an asshole. We've always admired.
Yeah. That's the thing. That would actually make more of an explanation, make more sense as an explanation.
Yeah,
He's just an asshole, than that he's an actual Nazi.
yeah. But
I mean, has he said some racist thing some point in time in his life?
the thing is,
Maybe.
I've never found anything he said that was racist. The border wall. Tell me any politician who hasn't required a border wall or said that that only bad people want are flooding in through not here's even more.
He said some of them are
Some of
probably
the
fine
most
people.
aggressive, anti-illegal immigration people I know are all Mexicans who came here legally. And
Yeah.
I will tell you what the guy who used to work with my wife said. I don't want to dox him, but I'll tell you what he said. He said, "How dare them let them come over free, and I had to do all the work to get here to run away from that guy." So the guy coming over here free is the guy that I ran from, the guy that I wanted my family to get away from. The cocaine, yeah, there's baby
Just
girls.
listen to what the Democrats said when Trump said, "Okay, let's go send undocumented or illegal people to the sanctuary cities." Suddenly, those Democrats were saying the exact same thing the Republicans had been saying all along. That as far as excuses of why that wouldn't work.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's just hypocritical.
It's past the point of wanting to figure out okay, you have an idea, I have an idea, we disagree for a while, you make a point I agree with, I make a point you agree with, we disagree with a couple more things, we work it out, hey, that's a good idea, hey, we worked on this together, we built this thing together, let's go do that, that's a good idea. That's not what's happening.
No,
It's I
it's
have an
some
agenda,
ethnic
nothing you say
minority,
works.
some like an African guy's wearing a Trump hat, minding his own business, and he gets beaten up by probably by a white guy. Did you hear about that? That was just a recent thing. but it's happened so many times that the Trump supporters are just wearing a "Make America Great" hat.
Yeah.
This time it was an African person, a person who from Africa with a strong accent.
Wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like somebody who I think's an immigrant from an actual African nation who was.
Do you realize they're messing up their own narrative? They're
Yeah, they're going around attack. There's a bunch of white people going around attacking ethnic minorities for supporting Trump.
not only that, the Democrats is a bunch of white people. When are they going to realize that they created? When are they going to realize they're Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, that they created?
It's really crazy. I mean, sure there's a lot of ethnic minorities who have traditionally supported the Democrats, but now there's Trump's gaining minority supporters,
Do you know
and
who?
then those Democrats are saying you can't be a minority and support anything except for the left, and that's racist.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
Do you know who? No, that's all right. Do you know who Candace Owens is?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not like a big fan of hers, but I think nobody should be going after her the way that.
You're not a fan of her because you haven't really paid attention?
No, I'm not a fan of her because she ran a fucking doxing. Sorry about the F word. She ran a doxing site when she was an SJW, and she lied about it to Dave Rubin. Or she didn't. Yeah, she had something called social autopsy, and her plan was to go after people who said naughty things on the internet, and then dox them and like tell their boss, or if they're kids, like
What was it called?
trouble. It's called social autopsy. And she didn't tell him the truth about it. Didn't tell Dave Rubin the truth about it. And when that came out, then Blair White. Are you familiar with Blair White? She's a conservative trans woman,
No.
like a biologically male person who's
Yeah. I'm not familiar by name or by definition.
but she's but identifies as a she. Well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, this person went on there and confronted Candace over this, and then Candace was really rude to Blair White too. So I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens because of her personality. Because basically, she was an SJW. She wanted to run a doxing site to dox people who said bad things online. It's social autopsy. I mean, she was going to destroy their online presence. And then I think maybe the SJWs doxed her, or they went after her, and then suddenly she became like a conservative. And her opinions are kind of run of the mill conservative there.
Okay, are you getting this off of Wikipedia? No.
I'm getting this off of what I know about her.
Well, yeah, see. I know.
What I'm saying is she admitted to running. She admitted to running social autopsy. It was on the Rubin report.
I know that sounds like an attack in this day and age in the internet. I'm just saying because I don't want to reread something you're already reading or quoting.
I'm not reading you anything. I'm just telling you what it was on. If you don't watch the Rubin report, Rubin used to be on the Young Turks, and then he turned conservative.
I've already found something, and I want to make sure they're not doing what they do to Comicsgate, where they're just not letting anybody else rewrite something. So
yeah, just look up social autopsy.
What I was asking was, Lorenzo, did any of this information come to you from?
This is direct from. I told you where my sources were. It comes direct from the Rubin report.
Yes,
direct from her. Yeah. Came direct from her. I'm telling you, it came directly from her. She admitted to it.
I don't care about that. I want to know what. Have you read Wikipedia about this at all?
No. She fucking.
That's it. Stop. Right there.
I watched it.
there, right there. Stop.
I'm watching myself on the Rubin Report. Watch the Rubin Report
Okay.
when she was on there.
You got all of it.
I'm just it's
Now I'm gonna read the used to be Wikipedia used to be awesome. They like really bust your balls. They would
and they smeared Gamergate.
not
Yep.
let you do what they do to if you try to fix anything on Comicsgate, they'll delete it.
Do they have a Comicsgate thing? Because they smeared Gamergate.
Oh yeah, it's a smear campaign. They will not let you quote.
I mean, even Computing Forever. That's a conservative YouTube channel says Social Autopsy, a doxing service. But I would go directly to her, Candace Owens, and Blair White talk social autopsy and
Wait a
more.
minute.
Live debate.
It's saying right here in her early career, she ran an anti-conservative blog. I just told you that I was 100 anti-conservative. I was 100 leftist SJW.
Yeah, but you don't you lie about it. You don't go around and say, "Oh, I had a site that went."
I'm not in her position where they put her in position where they try to double back on.
Jeez, she was on a conservative show, and she did not go and admit that did not tell the full truth about social autopsy. That there was a doxing site. It was designed to go and ruin people.
Look how petty this is what I'm reading. All I'm talking about is what I'm looking at right now. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any control over that.
It says in 2015, Owens was CEO of the website Degree 180, a marketing agency that offered consultation, production, and planning services. The website included a blog that frequently posted anti-conservative and anti-Trump content, including mockery of his penis size. See, this sounds like a hit piece. You're supposed to be Wikipedia, which is supposed to be a encyclopedia.
Yeah, why are you even reading that garbage?
Why does it even point out that she once made fun of his penis? You know what I mean? That's what I was getting at. I was trying to all that through. I was like, "Have you read the Wikipedia? Because it's funny, it's laughable. Whether you like it or not,
read it. I wouldn't read it. It's just garbage.
I'm trying to break her down now because she has power. So
I don't give a rat's ass about it. I'm talking about conservatives criticizing her, not liberals. I'm talking about conservatives criticizing her for not being honest.
That's double-edged swords. Well,
okay. She tried to dox people. What she should have said is, when I was in SJW, I started a site, and it was intended to dox people because I thought that getting them fired from work or letting their bosses know that they would stop being mean people. All she had to do was say that. Okay, it's misguided, but she knows better now. But instead of saying that, she went around and attacked conservative people for even bringing it up.
Right. It says in 2015 column that Owens wrote for the site, she criticized conservative Republicans, writing that the batshit crazy antics of the Republican Tea Party, adding the good news. They're hanging on.
It just makes her look sympathetic.
They're hanging on every syllable.
I'm saying that you should see how she treated Blair White, a trans conservative person. I mean, she was just so mean. And it was just like such a. This is why I don't like her. She's just like she's not. Oh gosh, you'd have to see the interview. You'd have to see this interview she did on the Dave Rubin show.
I see a lady with quotation marks hanging up. I know this is going to be good. All right. I don't want to see somebody's commentary on a fucking there. It's a no. That's a.
What I'm saying is, she was engaging in personal attacks against.
I'm on the Rubin Report.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to watch the Rubin Report. No, I hate that guy. God, no. I want to see the video and make my own decision. So I want to watch.
That's the video she was on, where he was moderating this debate between two conservatives. And Candace Owens was one, and Blair White was the other. Blair White is biologically male. be about a trans individual who identifies as a trans woman. She realizes she's biologically male, but Candace Owens just starts up with that whole thing. This is an argument between a woman and a man, is what she said. Oh boy.
She said. Well, she said. Whoa! I'm glad. I'm glad you can't hear that. She just used the N word.
Really?
All right. She's saying when she's mentioning some things that.
I'm just saying it's worth checking out sometime. It's just
But she said basically she's like, you won't understand because you're a man, is what you're saying. Wow, that's a long. It's an hour and a half.
it wasn't exactly what she was saying, but what she was doing was she's just like, well, I don't want this to be viewed as a cat fight, so I'm I'm having a discussion with a man here, and it's like, well, okay, this person's biologically male. Blair White doesn't lie about it. Blair realizes that, I'll say she, but that she's biologically male.
Mm-hmm.
She's just Blair White's an interesting character. I'm not saying
Blair White would actually be hard for me to pull out.
right there. So that individual is biologically male.
Yeah, and she just was really rude to Candace. So I'm pretty sure she probably. I mean,
Well, you should see because Candace just called her a man, which she doesn't identify. I mean, she realizes she's technically a man.
I mean, I would be polite, but in a debate, if you was to ask me what I believed you are, you're a man, bro.
But that wasn't had anything to do with the subject. What the subject was is this person had a doxing website back when they were in SJW.
So you're saying it was petty? It was a petty shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because everybody acknowledges that that individual is biologically male and had some surgery
right there.
Yeah. The thing is, Blair White's fairly conservative despite being trans. Everybody in the show was conservative. I mean, unless Ruben just identifies as libertarian, but
whoa, bro, my mind's blown. I have never seen a trans person that I've not gone, oh yeah, that's trans.
Yeah.
Ever. Like,
yeah, I think it's I think there's an interesting discussion. Now Candace Owens, I agree with what a lot of what Candace Owens says as far as politically speaking. I'm just saying I don't like the person as an individual, and that maybe my opinion will change, after.
I'm just telling you, I'll argue with myself if I'm the only one in the room. So I want to. Oh God, I see this picture. Yeah, that's totally.
Yeah, it's almost 4 a.m. here, and so
it's. I totally
try not to argue.
So when her no, that's what we're here on the Kodiak show for. Is if you don't make me see something differently, then you didn't do your part. Yeah,
I'm sorry
I can definitely see she's trans. That's definitely obvious when you look at her pictures. She must have just had a good profile, but wow.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Transitioning. Describe it as a dentist feeling dysphoria. Gender dysphoria. What? Is a disease. No, is a distress of a person experienced as a result of sex and gender they were assigned to us. I have an issue. I just have an issue with it.
Yeah, well, it's not just assigned at birth. This individual is biologically male and admits to it. So, I mean, there's not really any sort of, what I'm saying? It's not like sometimes a doctor used to not know what someone was biologically and just randomly assigned things at birth.
Yeah.
Because they had ambiguous genitalia. But I don't think it was the case with this individual.
which I
This
really need to
individual
look
was
that up because I'm
biologically
sure.
male,
You know, doctors across.
but feels like almost like
You know, doctors are suing for them to make for the government. They like you need to step in because we're unable to do our job properly because of people with gender dysphoria not telling us what they just just not being honest, and it's causing issues with and doctors get really paranoid because they're sued for every little fucking thing, you know.
Well, I think there should be some. I think it would be useful for a doctor to know what the biological gender is of a person,
Yeah,
and then if they prefer to identify as something else, then
and I'm pretty sure
then
most
that should be a different thing
and I'm
than
pretty
when they're
sure most transition
medical.
people, yeah, I'm pretty sure most transition people aren't gonna not tell their doctor, and the doctor.
Otherwise, it's going to be like, well, why aren't you menstruating? And
Yeah.
it's
Well, that's
somebody who
what I
was
was gonna bring up.
biologically,
If you felt like the other gender your whole life, did you have a painful erection that wouldn't go away your whole childhood trying to hide it?
I don't know.
I didn't even know that I was embarrassed to tell people, but when I was a young teenager, I had those. I didn't know that that was a worrisome thing. It eventually went away, but I wasn't turned on. You couldn't talk to me about sex. It wasn't a turn on. It was a painful erection, a male thing. Okay. Oh well,
Yeah,
cry me a river. I'm not even bringing it up, but you felt like a man your whole life? Really? You went through that? Now let's switch it.
your
You
chat is going. Your chat is going crazy.
are they?
Over this.
All right. Well, now, okay. What about you felt like a woman your whole life? You mean you started menstruating at 12? You bloated? You felt weird? See, I have done a lot of things for gay rights, but I've never stood this. I
Yeah, I,
I
I,
think it should be
yeah,
an
I
open
don't.
topic.
Yeah, I don't really.
Should anybody be abused for it? Hell no. Should they have their rights? Yeah, hell yeah.
This is like a very, very sensitive topic. I don't really know enough about it. I'm just saying that this one
That's
person
another thing. I
identifies
don't
as.
know enough. There you go. Good reasoning. I don't know enough about it. I'd like to ask questions, but am I
I,
allowed
you know,
to ask?
I do have I have a friend who identifies as a woman, but is biologically male, and says that when she looks down and sees a penis, that she thinks the vagina should be there. Like, I mean, as far as, and it seems to cause quite a bit of distress. I mean, there's lots of distress. Having, knowing that the one's one way,
Manny.
but wishing they were born a different way.
Yeah.
That would be very, very just upsetting, to say the least.
Yeah, I had a lady
To,
friend who was I brought her up earlier. She was pre-trans. And I talked mostly to her girlfriend cuz she was modeling for me at the time I was doing photography, and she was trying to explain to me. And like I told you back then 11 years ago, uh it was such a different thing. They were trying to explain how they felt. So I'm there. I'm with that. I'm like trying to understand, like Doug TeNapel having the trans person over there and you going, I empathize with where you're at. So there is that, but I would still like to ask questions.
I'd like to ask Doug questions about his hygiene.
Sorry.
Like his in Bigfoot Bill, was Bigfoot Bill inspired by
Oh man,
himself?
I'm
Is
let
this
me catch up on the chat.
autobiographical or?
Yeah, I got the you sent you put that in the chat. I need that. Both of them are well, how much? Whoa. Man, I've been ignoring my chat. How far back when Zion left? Mighty Geek says, greetings everyone.
Oh, hey, man, geek.
Manny says aloha. Uh
Aloha.
Smash the button for this awesomeness. I was drunk, but I'm sober now. So where's Risey? He needs to be on this. That would be amazing. That
Yeah,
would
I
be
wish I
awesome.
had alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, I do have alcohol, but it's
What kind of what was
4 a.m.
I asked Kami what his favorite drink was, but I never asked you. The unbreathable skunk girl was wondering who was drunk, me or you, and it was me. But
I'm not drinking. I'm just tired.
yeah, yeah, I'm keeping him up. Every time he says I'm tired, I'm gonna go. I'm like,
Yes, it's 4 a.m.
you don't sleep. You're a sleep stack. Wait, do sleep stacks?
Yeah. We would be sleeping if it weren't for you humans disturbing our natural habitat, spreading your SJWism and your anti SJWism and your oh gosh.
I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, "What did I say online? I need to go check it."
Probably for the best.
It's it's one of those things where you have friends and you don't want them to catch the wrong thing. I have friends or old friends. Nobody I'm close with now. I've kind of become a shut in, but I had friends that were, I'm curious because I lost track. I think they broke up. I'm pretty sure they broke up. But I'm curious as if she ever transitioned. I'm pretty sure now in this day and age she's transitioned by now. Like I said, that was 11 years ago. But she was gung ho gone that direction. That's what she was gonna do, you know. But it is what it is. Um, Lorenzo, I like rat's asses.
Hmm?
Manuel says. Um, did Manny change his name and that's Manny, or is that a
That's
somebody different?
well wait what that's Manny's name.
I know it's Manny's name, but didn't he used to use a different name?
Well he also uses Good Dog Press.
Yeah, right. Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. I knew this. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, he's just using his account. He's got a couple accounts I think and it were like one's his channel name and one's
Oh man, he probably left, and he's like, "Can either one of them
his
read
full
the
name.
chat?" I had pulled away to go look up an interview that he was telling me about. And I agree 1000% that Candace Owens is hot. Uh, what is MG's? What was MGS? How you doing, MGS? Oh, Mighty Geeks review. Okay. Boy, man, I must still be drunk. There's a bottle and a half down. Me and my wife got in a fight, and I don't even know what we were fighting about. It was one of those stupid fights. Go left, no, go right. Why?
What are you drinking?
I was
What
drinking.
were you drinking, I should say?
I'm a wine dude. I love wine. My wife got me hooked on it.
Oh, it's got those sulfites or sulfates. So I don't
Yeah,
drink
yeah.
wine all that often.
It gives me headaches in the morning, but what are you gonna do? I want to make my own wine. That's why I'm trying to grow muscadines down here in Florida.
Yeah, maybe you should switch to scotch or
Oh
something.
man, my heart is breaking. We finally got the chat to light up, and it's like, Manny, why are you here instead of paying attention to the very lovely lady who took the
What
chance?
about say Glenn Levitt or something? Glenn Levitt's you could maybe drink that instead.
Who, me? My favorite drink is a drink I cannot drink anymore because it's basically sugar and then whiskey, which is a whiskey sour. And yeah, me being a diabetic,
Oh, you're diabetic? Oh, and you drink.
yeah,
Okay, well
wine.
so I'm sure you probably try to be careful with that then.
Yeah, I try to be.
Because I think any sort of alcohol probably I don't think it's the best for the blood sugar.
Right now, I'm in so much pain, so I find myself drinking to like put a numb on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lecture you on it because I got low blood sugar and
I need to do something because I've been trying to work. Every summer, I get out in the yard and I start, trying to work on my yard, which is the reason I fell in love with this house and wanted to buy it. So this year, I built a pond that I had thrown some koi in, and the sun hit it. The Florida sun hit the pond, and
oh,
in a day's time, it looked like pea soup. It was so green with algae. So we had to wait until our next paycheck to get a UV light to kill off all the algae. So within that week,
oh,
it smothered my koi fish. So I'm like, oh, damn it.
that's not good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm about. I'm trying to grow.
I'm not even drinking, Mighty Geeks. I'm not even drinking. You guys are lightweights when it comes to drinking. I'm
Yeah,
just really tired.
I went from being the dude that could drink anybody over under the table and like walk out perfectly straight to being the guy who drinks one drink and I'm like stupid, like talking. We're talking hard liquor, of course. Diabetics and liquor do not mix whatsoever.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. Well,
Oh,
that's good that you avoided then.
Skunky kick his ass. Oh,
I've got liquor. I just not feeling like drinking it.
yeah. What did you say your favorite drink was?
Oh, I didn't ever say. One of the best whiskeys I ever had. I can't afford it, but like Lafroig
Yeah.
from what was it called? The island of was it Isla? Isla or something like that? It's spelled like Islay. It's
So basically, not rot gut.
no, it's real single malt Scotch, but I've only had that.
I just literally thought of the drink Evan Williams and literally could taste it and shivered. Ugh, and I haven't drank the thing in like 10 years.
Isla, I guess it's how it's pronounced, but it's spelled Islay.
I like brandy, but it's another thing I can't take. I don't really.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I haven't had that in a long time, but I enjoyed that cognac.
Cognac. Used to like cognac as well. And I wish it was back to the thing like I was really impressed when EVS was on that drunken stream the other day and he only drank that we know of while they were all live streaming. He only drank 3 drinks and
So
then walked away. I
there's
can't do that.
over 3,000 inhabitants of that island, which isn't that much.
3,000, dude. That's not a lot at all.
And it's got all this peat moss in there. It gives it the flavor.
It has peat moss and
Yeah, it's peaty. It's got a peaty taste to it. It's got a certain number of parts per million of peat moss. And it's not that easy to drink. It's not like somebody's going to just slam like a shot of Lafroig. It's hardcore stuff. That's how I like it. And then it didn't. Yeah, I wouldn't even mix anything with that. I maybe mix a little water in there. I like stuff up and chilled.
Well, I just went back over to this this thing you sent me to. It's the only sentence in her description is Blair White is an American conservative political YouTuber. just that term, political YouTuber. I'm like, oh my god.
I don't know how political she is anymore. Well, I'm saying she because that's how that individual prefers to identify.
I've done it too. You just keep it easy, and you don't want. And I really don't want to offend anybody, but you know.
Well, I realize that somebody who knows that they're biologically one way and struggles with that and just wishes they were another way. Yeah. So if that person's going to try to live their life as close as they can to being a woman, even if they're not biologically that way, I'm going to be respectful for their struggle.
What I want to know is I can't get weight loss surgery to save my life. How are they all these people affording this surgery?
Not many trans people can. There's a lot of the trans people on the streets.
Oh. I gotta watch that Candace versus. Was it technically a versus, or did they just disagree like you and I just did?
Oh well, it was like that, but all throughout the debate.
Well, that's what happened
all throughout the whole thing, and it really was just like it wouldn't have ever happened had Candace just said that she had run a doxing site, that she had thought she could just shame these people who had said naughty things on the internet by revealing their identity. Back when she was at FJW,
Can you
she wanted to portray herself as a victim, which is totally against what conservatism is supposed to be about. She
Yeah.
was in. I mean, her name's like Red Pill Black. This whole idea of like, I mean,
Okay.
the way she's using her race and stuff
Have you?
is against what I know, like with conservatives.
She's not using her race. She is black, and she has had these things happen to her, and yet she's still trying not to. She's like I said, I don't know. I'm going to accept what you said and look
She's
into it.
probably becoming
But what
more
I do know
legitimate.
is I was a diehard. SJW wasn't a thing,
She's
but I was
yeah.
I was a leftist. I was a
My
diehard
point is,
leftist.
she's probably
I
becoming
turned
more of a
around.
legitimate
I
conservative
stopped
over
drinking the
time, but
Kool-Aid.
she wasn't on that show.
You know, why couldn't Candace Owens ate Congress alive, bro? Did you see that video?
Yeah, I think I did. I
That
mean,
was
what I'm
amazing.
saying
I
is
mean,
she's
whether you love
becoming.
her or hate her, at that moment, that was a standing ovation
I'm
because
saying it got more. I'm
that
saying I
old
got.
white
Oh,
dude,
wait,
when
oh,
that
wait a
old
second.
white dude tried to slap down Little Miss Republican, and he's just trying to say, "Look, you don't say this," and she's like, you know, like,
My,
so good.
my,
The timing was perfect."
yeah, my point is that I had a very bad introduction to her
Okay,
because she was not representing what had happened correctly.
but do you have a good day every day? I mean, I'm not even. You said Blair White.
I don't go around I just don't go around lying like that
I'm sitting here looking at.
or
I'm still going through Blair White's things. One thing I know is she seems to be more aligned with me. You know, some of the videos that I see her popping up is seems to be aligned with me. You know, in most beliefs,
yeah, I think she's
and
like a
nobody's
Trump.
gonna
I
be
think she's kind of a center right Trump supporter.
right. I don't know. I'm thinking about supporting Trump this time around. I'm thinking about it.
And I don't agree with Blair White on a lot of things either. So it's just, I mean, because what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying either of them are the. I don't know. There's a lot of these YouTubers, and people can watch them after a while, and maybe
You wonder if they just hit something a chord with somebody and they just rode that chord.
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that I don't know. I'm not going to go around like I'm only saying something about Candace Owens because it was like an obvious situation
I've watched
where
Candace Owens on Ben Shapiro. I've watched her on why can't I think of his name? It only pops up on me daily.
had she just said she had been running a doxing. I think she had made it sound like the SJWs were the ones who doxed her, and then just completely ignored that she was trying to run a doxing
Anytime the
site.
Young Turks go after you, you're okay in my book. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. But
But do you see what I'm saying? That she was going to try to turn these people. She's going to go and victimize people, and
can't
then she
see what you're
complained about
saying.
being a
I didn't
victim.
watch the video. I got it saved, and it's an hour and a half video. I have to watch it for myself. I'm not taking anyone's word for it. Not right, not left, not middle.
Is the
Everything I have seen of Candace Owens, this woman kicks ass. So you're telling me something. You gave me some
yeah,
information. Now I need to go take it and I need to look it up for
yeah,
myself.
I'm saying, and then that's a good approach. But I've seen there's a previous interview to that had led to this, where she had just kind of downplayed the role that she was doing with that website.
Uh, that
I mean, the
that
thing
definitely
is,
got me. But look, what did I tell you? You can go in my Facebook right now and you can click back long enough and you'll find pictures of Obama and Michelle and because I was an Obama night for a while.
okay, but you're admitting today you didn't go on a show and live. You didn't go and like try. If you, I mean, did you go around create a website to dox people to get them to let their employers know that they said naughty things on the internet, and then go on the Dave Rubin show and not say anything about it? That's the difference. That's the difference with Candace Owen.
MGS says Candace Owens used Congress as snack food. Yes, she did. That was epic. I showed my wife, who's not too up on par with stuff and what's going on. And I showed her, and she's like, "Wow!" And I'm like,
I
"I
just,
know,
I mean,
right?"
I just wish that Candace Owens had taken personal responsibility for what she had done when she was an SJW, and just said, I used to be this way, and I'm not that way anymore. Had she just simply said that, it'd been okay. I can understand that
Mm.
because there was a time then when people she might not have realized that it would be harmful to go and get people go and give out people's
I
personal
want to
information.
read this comment real quick. Mighty Geek says Blair White has a standing disagreement with the LGBTQ community, and I would like to say that's because the left eats itself; it consumes itself. Well, she's not even the left, right? Her views are
No, she had some wine. She had some. I think it was wine thrown in her face for wearing a Trump hat in L.A.
yeah, that
And
sucks.
I remember it might have been in
That pissed me
Hollywood,
off.
but she was in like hanging out. She was
Little,
in
that
some
would piss me
liberal.
off a lot. And not some, it would be funny. I don't know how I am. Like I told the story earlier of where I used to be like really meek, and I finally started learning to stand up to bullies after my dad's death because of my dad's death. But I would probably not know how to react if it was thrown in my face. My anger wouldn't. But if I was to sit across from somebody I'm speaking to, transgender, gay, woman,
She transgender.
well, you know what I meant. White,
Transgender.
white man, black man, Hispanic man, any person.
Wouldn't that be somebody who goes and tries to pass as ginger?
They threw and he tried to pass his gender. Dude, that is, don't get me started. That is the biggest travesty in humankind, and nobody talks about it. Everybody trying to dye their hair ginger, and nobody succeeding. Stop trying to dye your head ginger. You can't do it. It always looks maroon or some shit. Stop doing it. You do not do, what is that called when you take you take somebody else's culture or they say,
Cultural appropriation.
yeah, do not culturally appropriate the ginger. Stop it. Stop dyeing your hair red. It doesn't look right. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I don't care. And yes, I do have a soul. Remember that video from like 10 years ago? It's like, where I do have a soul, the little redheaded
I
kid.
just remember the South Park episode.
Yeah, that's what started it. And then you found out that it was an actual thing. It started as because the redheaded kid was actually killed off because people used to believe they were witches or demonic, or because because uh you could go a couple generations without a redhead in your family, and then all of a sudden any human gene can actually pop up with a redhead, a ginger of some sort in their gene. And
You ever hear that song by was it Tim Mitchum?
Tin mentioned no.
It was about prejudice.
Uh-huh.
Prejudice against gingers.
No, I haven't heard it. Well, what about it?
Yeah. Well, it's you would have to hear it.
Oh, okay. So you
It's
already got me. You have like, I have
I
3
don't know.
tabs open for homework. But you know what? I'm with Manny. Candace is hot. She's about my age too. Oh no. She's younger than me. That's right. I looked that up because I wondered if she was to run for president, how long she'd have. She's only 29. She's younger than my wife by 1 year.
How old does someone have to be
I think it's 35. I could, I got Google up right here. I'll just look it up. I think it's 35. But I don't think we've had one that young. I just think, how old American? Am I sharing? No, I'm not. Okay. Mr. President, that's not what I. Oh, okay. That's how old to be. No person except a national born citizen or blah blah blah. We know that. Neither. It doesn't say. Oh, it does say right here 35. Yeah, I thought so. No, that's a question. Where? God dang it.
Huh.
Yeah, 35. But I don't believe there's been too many people that's been 35 and actually be a president. Matter of fact, didn't they say that Obama was like one of the youngest presidents?
I think he was pretty young, and same thing with Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy definitely was young. I forgot what we was talking about before that.
I don't know.
Oh, right. You hate Candace Owens.
No, I don't
It's
hate
okay,
her.
Sleestack. It's okay.
I don't hate her. I just think that
You got to
the
admit,
way
she's fine.
the way she started off going on shows, a lot of things that she was saying, it didn't seem like she was exactly fully like maybe she start. You could tell that she started off on the left, and
Oh,
that's
dear God. I pushed play on your video. I know that guy. I've had to see it. Oh, it's Tim Minchin. Okay.
yeah. I like his song about
Song
prejudice.
called Prejudice.
And then the song, I mean, the opening part of the song is real sappy, but the song itself is pretty cool. It's real catchy.
I've been beat up. I've been fired from a job from a lady who didn't like me, all because of my red hair. It's weird, and you know it too. You know it, and with me, I'm not crying
Because
about
you're a
it.
ginger.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. The redhead thing is real. It's not extreme by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not even crying about it. I'm just saying it's a real thing.
You got
And then,
fired for.
dude, I've had at least. I've been friend zoned so many times by girls who's like, I don't date redheads. And it's like that. And that's when I was buff, dude. I was like,
Wow.
like right after my dad's death, right after I started taking care of business of like bullies, I also really tortured myself and got like, I could put my hands around my waist, but yet my shoulders were like super broad and awesome. But then, you'd get you get into these doorways where you're like this this she's digging on me, she's digging on me. And then you tried to move to the next level and it's like, I don't date redheads. And then it's like, that's actually your go-to. It's straight up, I'm not attracted to redheads. And like, because it's more than just the red hair. It's the freckles, it's the pale skin, it's whatever they're into, and I get that. It's exactly what my wife was dug about me.
Yeah.
She seen the red hair and she called it orange hair back then because she was a lot younger. She's like, I dig the orange hair, and it was something that made her notice me. So the exact same thing that turned one person off, found the love of my life. So I'm not complaining, but it was a thing. But yeah, there was a person I was working for who yeah, she didn't like my red hair. That's it. That's all it was.
Wow.
Yeah, back then I had hair. Now it went all to my beard.
Was he an SJW?
Obama was older than Kennedy, really? Huh. It is
Interesting.
35, and JF Kennedy. Oh, he was 35. Man, he was his back had made him. I know he looked young. He definitely did look young, but now that I'm older than 35 by just 2 years, it just seems like Kennedy had to be older than 35, but I guess not. 35 when he was elected. Wow. That's just a bit to sit back and take in. So how long ago did she come out as a Republican, Candace Owens?
I don't know.
I'm kind of saying that as
I'm just really tired.
all right, go ahead. Go to bed.
I don't know.
She's about the only one who can take on an AOC who's just put in just basically a wind-up robot, Yeah, sleep is not sleep is for the weak. No, I'm just kidding. Because I'm weak and I'm tired.
It's just there were like two interviews. The first one was the one which, from first one got me upset because she just like turned out that she was just like portraying herself as a victim, and then it turned out that she was the one trying to dox people.
You're
you know.
you're doing that thing that some people.
Then the second one, and then, she should have just said that. She should have just said that that was the point of the website. She shouldn't have presented it using some sort of
No,
euphemism.
I don't play that. You should hate somebody because I heard she said this. I don't play
No,
that.
I didn't just hear her say that. I, I didn't hear somebody else say it. I heard her directly saying
You
something.
do realize you're perfect for this game, right? That I'm playing.
Yeah, maybe anybody is like at this time of the night.
No, because you'll sit there and you'll back and forth with everything. It's fun. I always wanted a stream where we kind of let it out, talk about what.
It's not something that's all that fun. It's not all that fun. I just that's why people don't talk about politics.
It's fun to me, and it's my stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just for me. It's almost 4:30 in the morning, so it's not really good topics now. It's not something you can go and really explain all that easily because it's very
Isn't
complex.
it funny how you'll Google one thing and it'll just take you on a trail of why is when I okay, she's on
A trail of tears.
a trail.
Is that what you're gonna say?
No, portal to nothing.
Oh, okay.
Portal to deeper. I get why some of this stuff is on now. Tommy Lauren, she's still around. Wow. You know what? Everybody could. There's what I say. Everybody. There's a couple people who complain about. And I'm talking in our community. There's people that complain about Captain Marvel on a daily basis. There's people that complain about Star Wars on a daily basis.
Yeah,
I really have an open mind, but I have my opinion too. So I'm going to speak my opinion and then hope that you speak yours. And if you have a good theory or a good thought, like I still literally somewhere have that open. I'm going to watch that whole hour and a half interview of her and Blair. So I mean, you really opened something. If there's something there, I will see it, and that's the kind of.
Yeah, but that's not even the first thing. There was the first thing was where she went on the Rubin report and didn't say anything about any of this. And then people have to kind of do research, and it's like, well, wait a second. This wasn't just like some sort of anti-bullying site. It was a site dedicated to bullying people by doxing them.
Mm.
I mean, when she was at SJW, I'm sure she thought that she was fighting bullies by doxing them. I can understand that. I just don't understand why she wasn't a little more open about it.
What exactly?
Why she didn't? Why she didn't?
Exactly
Why she had to argue with Blair White instead of saying, you know what, it wasn't. I should have been a little more forthcoming about this. I'm sorry.
In what way did she dox somebody?
Any better, and I know better now.
In what way did she dox someone?
No, the whole site was social autopsy.
Okay, but how did she dox somebody?
The whole site was dedicated to digging up people, to finding people, to going after people who said naughty things on the internet, and then publishing their real names and who they were and doxing them.
Was it people whose names were already out there and they just did the research for you? That's not doxing. If your name's already out, if I told you Joe Rogan's name, that's not doxing. That's just
what they were doing is they were digging up information about people,
like personal, go to your house,
including children, and
go to your house. Here's
things that could completely ruin their life forever.
Yeah, that's SJW tactic.
Yeah. And she just should have been. She should have said, but you know what? She just described it as like an anti-bullying site,
right?
And that she was bullied by SJWs for making an anti-bullying site. Well, it's more complex than that. And she just said, you know what? I was using some, kind of. I don't know if she could have come up with any sort of excuse and just admitted, that what I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't tell the full story. She should have just said, I didn't tell the full story. And
I've heard this a lot actually. This is actually NPC. The good news is they will eventually die off peacefully in their sleep, we hope. Talking about Republicans. This is exactly the same words, almost verbatim, that Henry Rollins just said in his stand up. It's
Oh,
one of
boy.
those programmed sentences. So if I'm sitting there saying, I was programmed and I stopped drinking the Kool-Aid, why is it a thing that she doesn't speak this stuff now, you know?
Why? Yeah. Why doesn't she just say, "Hey, I was, was running a"? Why didn't she just say that she was running a doxing site and she thought it was noble at the time, and she thought she was fighting bullying, and that she misspoke when she talked to Dave Rubin before. That's all she would have had to say. But she had to go. But instead, she went and like attacked Blair White and all this stuff just for pointing it out.
I just
That's what
laugh
makes
at
her a
the way
scum
some of this,
person.
yeah, I just laugh at the
Yeah.
way some of this is written. Owens opposes abortion. She called abortion a tool for the extermination of black babies. Owens is critical of feminism. Owens described. Now, I guarantee you, I can go to any leftist right now, and they'll have a full like paragraph, fully like the buttering up the opening sentence. But okay, all right. So she's a horrible person, but she opposes abortion. So do I. Well, we have one thing in common. She's critical. It doesn't say she opposes. She's critical of feminism. So am I. So that's two. She describes the Me Too movement as an international movement against sexual harassment and assault as stupid. Oh wait, no. See, that's their. I love that they had to put their little interjection in. She describes the Me Too movement, an international movement against
Yeah.
sexual harassment and assault, as stupid. Instead of saying her point, the point she's trying to make, they have to jump in front of it and speak in front of it. That's not the way this works. You're supposed
Well,
to
wait a second. Aren't they
be
just
encyclopedia.
describing
You're
what she
supposed to be
believes?
an encyclopedia. You're giving your opinion on.
Well, aren't they saying what she believes?
No, no, no. Right here, what I have it highlighted in blue, Owens describes the Me Too movement, and then they describe what their belief. They don't even do what you, because I'm on Wikipedia all the
Oh,
time.
they're not using any quotes or anything. They're just
No,
saying what they
an
believe.
international move against.
Yeah.
They're
Oh, they're going and they're editorializing what the Me Too movement supposedly is.
exactly, but in a in
Yeah.
a in a butter it up manner. Not here. Go here
Yeah.
if you want to see evidence on what this thing is. Which I mean, I'm you know.
I don't know. This stuff's not gonna. It doesn't even really matter. Every
Right.
20 years or so, the pendulum switches another way.
I
For a
agree.
while, it's going into another phase like in the '80s where things were really conservative. Then we're going to be complaining about 20 years from now,
Here's
we'll be
something.
complaining about things being too conservative. It's just
Here's
how
something.
life is.
Here's
It's
something I have
not
a
really anything
political
worth
thought
worrying
on.
about.
LGBT rights. I love how she supports same-sex marriage. Oh, that's the smallest sentence of this whole thing. Okay, but we
But
want
isn't
we
this
want
what?
to berate her. So the big sentence is: in 2017, Owens came out in favor of banning transgender individuals who are going sexual reassignment surgery from serving in the United States. I have a theory and if I was president, which I would also support same-sex marriage, I would. That's my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their different opinion. My opinion is if you're going into the military and you have something that is distracting you from being a soldier, like getting a boob job or getting a transgender, I even to a degree think I should add with that, don't be getting tattoos. You're while you're in the military, you belong to the military. And then afterwards, whatever you
Yeah,
do
it is
is your
none of this affects me personally. So,
yeah.
so it's just like for me, this is
But
all
no, it
kind
does
of.
affect your military actually, and the military affects your freedom. So that
What I'm saying
is
is,
a
this
wrong
is not
statement.
going to. 20 years from now, we're not even going to be talking about this. This is just all kind of a limited kind of. This is some crazy clown world thing we've got
We
going
talk
on right now. But
about
it's not going to matter. In 20 years, it's just
it.
going to be. We're going to have a different set of
You
problems.
said you don't own any weapons.
No, I don't.
Okay, she says she does. Okay, so that's we're roughly 4 for 4 or 5 for 5. Muslim immigration. Warned that Europe will fall and become a Muslim majority content by 2050. Okay. I don't get why people fight so hard for Muslim but attack Christianity.
There's not going to be any rational consistency to what the SJWs do. There's no logical consistency. It's not rational. It's just some sort of thing it's not even going to be here 20 years from now. I don't think it's even their SJWs will even be a thing maybe 5 years from now. It's not sustainable. So
I do. I'm hoping, and I've seen that too.
it's just it's some new thing that's. I mean, it's already been the proto SJWs have been around probably since the 80s. I mean, the whole thing, the foundation of it goes back a long ways. It's just these full-fledged SJWs have really only been like taking over these. Now they've been real influential the last few years, where they've been taking over the entire. Where they're the ones, the most vocal component of the left. But it's only been that way in recent times. They're still the minority of the left.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way these SJWs,
I'll say this,
the only way the SJWs gained power was through these primaries. These primarying where the Democrats always win these certain districts anyway, and so they run. Was the bartender woman?
Back to the SJW thing. I've always said there's nothing wrong with social justice. It's when you become a social justice warrior that you try to weaponize and see a battle everywhere you go, and that's when it becomes a problem. Everything.
I don't even know what the social justice theory is.
Well,
I mean, if
justice just means that you have the right to be, and she has the right to be, and he has the right to be, and that person.
Well, there's a sociological term, social justice, which
I know that. I know that
means.
now. That's what it is now. But I mean, civil rights movement was real. I mean, the things that brown people went through in this country was real.
I just call that social. I just call that civil rights.
Yeah, that's something that was real. And to any person trying to forget that is not understanding that. It's basically SJWism is diluting that pot, and that serves their purpose. That serves the left's purpose, because the left was a big proponent of a lot of that stuff. But that's for smarter people. I've done my pot stirring for the night, and Lorenzo, I thank you for being here. You are awesome.
Oh, yeah, sorry about this. It's just
anybody that can sit here and deal with this.
I get so tired.
You knew what I wanted to do. I wanted a stream that we talked about everything and we hashed out opinions, and I emphasize.
It's just not a very good time for me.
I like what Mighty Geek just said about SJWs are the Borg from Star Trek.
They are the Borg from Star Trek.
And that's what pushed me away, because I've already been assimilated once with this religion that's technically a cult, and I had to escape from them. Then when I started seeing the left start using those same tactics, I went, aha. But Sleestack, I like you because you're not afraid to speak your opinion, and
I just would be able to be more articulate if it was in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. Dang, dude, it's an hour and a half since the last time you told me. Anyways, this is Sleestack Lorenzo.
I think I just said something like 5 minutes ago. So
well, I ignored that one. I listened to the one an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
Sleestack or Lorenzo, the one, the only. And I'm Uncanny Kodiak.
Yeah, it was good talking with you.
Yes.
And I plan to have my own non-politically oriented channel.
Fantastic.
And I will after Easter.
And I will come on, and I will if I'm invited, of course, and I will.
I
will respect your wishes, as I do with Andrew. I always see how
it's going to be more like that, more like Andrew's stream, where there's going to be not too much political
talking like 12-year-old boys. I like.
Well, I don't know if he's going to bring peeps on, but
There's something you got to know about me. I could watch some stuff that you sent me and totally come on this stream tomorrow and be like, I hate Candace Owens. She said some bad things and she's a bad person.
Yeah, I don't think she's a bad person. I just think that
What I'm saying is I'm open to change
I
my
just think
mind.
she's new to. Well, wait a second. I think she's new to conservatism. I think she's probably becoming more conservative since she made that, because she was very, very new to the right when she
she's 29,
made
so
that.
she's still a little young in her.
She's got more street cred now than she did then. I mean, she's done some things that I like and have impressed me, like going in front of Congress.
Yeah. Watch
It-
those videos. They are pretty impressive, actually. You're sitting there going, wow, you spoke for all of us on that one. Nice.
It's just that I just wish that she had dealt with that one thing a little bit better.
And she did
That's all.
encourage people. She basically, and that's what they didn't like. She basically said, like, look, I know who you're talking to. You're talking to all the brown people who already believe the way you do. You want to villainize me. Well, you're talking down to them. They can go. They can go look up this clip for themselves. I think they're smart enough to do so. They didn't like that at all.
Yeah. I think she handled that one thing about the website that she could have been a little more transparent about that. But that was months ago. So, I don't really have any problem with the stuff I've seen from her lately. It seemed like maybe she was like kind of using the whole thing at first, like she was maybe not so transparent, not as transparent about what that website really was about as she should have been. And then I thought that maybe she was using the fact she was black as kind of a gimmick instead of focusing more on the ideas of conservatism.
No, she's using their weapon against them. She's like, you don't got this. I'm muting. You've been using the race card so long. Here I am, a black woman in your face, and I'm a conservative. Eat it.
But she's like, there's so many black conservatives nowadays that it's like.
And the thing is I'm black and I'm proud. You know what I mean? That's not the problem. The problem is when they're telling my four white boys that there's something wrong with them. That's the SJW pot they're stirring is what's wrong. A black person being proud that they're black or telling you about the plight that they have gone through, that is lauded to me. That's fine. That's civil rights. That's something, that's history we should not forget. But this is her major call, acting like the victim, like you can't get ahead on certain things all the time, looking for the handout and not doing anything for yourself is what she's trying to avoid. We're raising a culture of people looking out for handouts. That's all.
Well, it'd be interesting if you watch the video and come back and say that maybe you'll see what I was talking about, that she was acting like acting like she had been a victim and then kind of neglected the part where she had been trying to victimize people when she was at SJW.
And I promise both of you, I'll look at that video and I'll look at.
And I think what happens, I think she realized when it happened to her, I think she realized, well, that's a bad tactic.
Yeah,
and that's cool. That's commendable. I just wish
I've seen her go head to head with Ben Shapiro. I know she can be spunky, and I like that about her.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't real overall. It's not. Yeah, I don't.
Now
I don't exactly dislike her. I just wish that
Now the sleep stack is not letting me get to bed. You love me, face it. I'm lovable. You got really quiet right there. He's like,
well, you're like
I'm uncomfortable. I officially made a sleep stack uncomfortable. All right. To those who are still in my chat, Mighty Geek Studios, you are one of my favorite people. If Manny's still there, I don't think he is. I think everybody left, but
Mighty Geek Studios said Candace escaped the SJW collective.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
I know I read over it, but but it's good to read it again because it's true. It's at least it, you know, any one of us can go back. I've seen people go back and they're like, "Oh, I better start talking bad about this or that," or and that's what it sounds like. They're reading from a script because
And
they.
I don't think Blair White would disagree with what Mighty Geek Studio was saying about transgenderism. I think he does realize it's psychological.
Yeah.
Because he's another person. Again, none of those people are. Nobody is perfect. And Blair White's not perfect. Ken, so it's not perfect. I don't think they're bad people. I think I just think they're people.
Yep. I have that's for another stream. I have a pretty good huge theory on that. I mean, it has to do with the population number, and we're very thick right now. We're at 8 billion peoples on this planet, so but that's for another time, and I would have to collect my thoughts on how to do it. But good night all. This is Uncanny Kodiak saying peace out, y'all.
Take care.
All right.